Live from the Findlay Toyota studio, you're listening to ESPN Las Vegas.
All right, here we go. Tuesday. Willie is here on this Tuesday as we've got 4 days until week 0 in college football. A lot of college football this hour. Ray Brewer is going to join us in about 15 minutes on UNLV and Memphis and the starting quarterback thing, which has really taken off on social media. Seems like a repeat of last year, which we'll bring up. People are crazy out there. They are missing football. We got some football injuries to mention, and later in the show we'll check in with a couple of gambling experts behind the counter with Ray Kluever, and in front of the counter, better, Dustin Swedelson. Willie, what's going on, buddy?
Well, Steve, as a proponent of a specific area of college football, I'm a little offended by your remark of 4 days till week 0. Because we have football on Thursday, my friend. We have some Big Sky. We have some FCS.
That's a good point. All the added games, the extra games are on there, so we'll hit that with Ray Kluever.
Yeah, we get some good stuff out of those. So, anyway, other than
Did you handicap some of the Thursday games?
Tonight, I am going home after this, and I'm going to start looking at everything in depth. So, yes, I will. I haven't, but I looked at the lineups as for the schedule. I think it was yesterday during the show, during a break, that I was like, wait a minute, it's all, which I actually thought it was kind of cool because it gives the spotlight to them for the first 2 days on Thursday and Friday, and then we get full streak. Because normally they'll throw a few spotlight games in there on the opener. You always do that during the show, you know.
Pull out money.
Well, yeah, and you flash it.
Disorganized.
It's the old school bookie roll, and
it's not really because it's not hundreds, it's tens. It's probably about $180.
I didn't say it.
I got crumpled up in my pockets.
It didn't have to equate to a bookie roll.
Bills were out of line,
but it's the way it's done with the rubber bands around the wrist, and I will put a rubber band around it. Next time you're going to do that, you're going to have to owe me a Cecil.
Is that right? A Cecil. It's my roll. It's the entire roll. What are you talking about? Yeah, so we got college football coming up, and I do have a spotlighted FCS game. I have no idea if Ray Kluever is going to have something on it, but I'm interested in it, so why not? Football down the stretch here for the NFL is they're all efforting trying to get to September 9th and beyond with the Wednesday opener and then the 13th and 14th with Sunday and Monday Night Football. Just get through it healthy, right? We'll give you an update here on what was said about Ashton Genty out at Raiders camp. Jamar Chase went down for the Bengals, which I'm sure Bengals fans are like, here we go. By the way, that would be on the heels of Charger fans going, here we go. They've already suffered a debilitating injury on their offensive line with their center that they brought over from the commies. Jamar Chase went down. He quickly responded that it wasn't serious, hyperextended knee. Pro football doc who loves jumping out there and trying to give some sort of prognosis before anyone else can take a look at the knee, and he's not going to look at the knee, but he was an NFL doctor. He was talking about, hey, hopefully this is not an ACL. It's like, all right, let's all calm down. Sort of the same thing we went through with Ashton Genty on Sunday into Monday.
Yes.
These are scary times. You just want to get the hell out of the preseason, get the hell out of the preseason games, and just get your main players to the finish line.
Well, let's see what we'll wait for the California Post to see what their back page may read about.
That was a mess. That was a mess. I saw Vinny, and if you missed that yesterday, California Post suggested that it was a serious injury, and that, what was it, Ashton to Ashes?
Ashton up in ashes, or something like that.
Ashton to Ashes.
Ashton to ashes.
And then Vinny responded to everyone who was all mad at him. Vincent Urias over on Raider Nation Radio 920, who's now writing for the Cali Post. He said, well, the story was correct. He actually, I was surprised. He actually threw, it's a new job for him. He actually threw the headline writer, not by name, under the bus. Like, I don't write the headlines.
I'll be honest with you. I don't blame him because I do have a big problem with headline writers that these days that's what they do, and they're told to look for clickbait. I'll never forget a conversation I had with a young lady from Yahoo Sports, and she told me where she was from, and I was like, you know, I like your writing, this, that, the other, blah, 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 but your social media team sucks because they embellish, they enhance, and they take things out of context. And she said, wow, what do you mean? And so I told her, I said, well, you know, I asked Paige Beckers a question at her initial media day. It wasn't her introductory press conference, but in a sense it was because it was at media day. And I asked her how she navigated her mental health in being able to go from Connecticut senior year into training camp and then into the draft, or draft, training camp, and right into the season. And she gave a really nice long speech talking about how she worked with a sports psychologist, so on and so forth. And she said the phrase, "Comparison is the thief of joy." So she tries to just stay within where her feet are, 10 toes down, and just focus on herself and not worry about any outside noise and so on and so forth. She mentioned no names. She was talking about herself. Yahoo Sports got a screenshot of that press conference, used that quote, and then in the caption on the graphic said, "Paige Beckers on her rivalry with Caitlin Clark." It's Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
So, and she said, I don't disagree with you. It's horrible. So headline writers these days, they want clicks.
Works.
They want clicks. Now
those quick news feeds. That's the headlines are the key thing, and I tell everyone don't use that as a news source. Don't get sucked in. Do a search, but people are going real fast. Clint Kubiak on Ashton Genty's injury. He said, "Quote: This is today. I'm not going to get into injuries. He's on the mend." So there you go, plain and simple.
And that could mean anything, but here's the thing: if it was that serious and it was up in ashes and he was done, they'd announce it. If it was season-ending or season-threatening or he's going to be out for a while, I think that they would just say it. What are you beating around the bush for? They're not going to. So if it's something where maybe he's done. Remember, there's 2 weeks before the season starts, and we talked to who yesterday? Was it Caleb? Somebody who said high ankle sprains, or was it earlier in the show that we talked to somebody about high ankles? Maybe it was Jesse Merrick. High ankle sprains are no joke, and Asia's gone through a couple of them here, and she was in a boot, and everyone thought that the season was over. She missed just a couple of games, but it was because to be safe. Can you imagine if Ashton Genty was seen out at practice to at least have his presence there in a boot? It's just for a lot of times. I mean, I remember back in our day, Steve, right? If you had a rolled ankle or something, remember the old air cast, and they were held together. It was like a green air pocket around you. Now they put them in a boot, but that's just for protection. Doesn't mean anything. And I think at this point, if he was done for the season, we'd hear about it. If he was done for an extended period of time, we'd hear about it. The fact that, he's on the mend, let's move on.
Maybe we wouldn't. Maybe this is the new Raiders. Maybe this is the Raiders we want. No leaks.
Raider Knights.
All the scumbags are, yeah. All the dirtbags from the organization who used to leak stuff to Pelissaro and Rap Sheet, maybe they're all gone. I saw a comment going back to the Genty injury on Sunday. You remember the scary part of that was that he goes down and then everyone got real somber and they got in a prayer circle. Zach Jacobson said of that, he said, "Happy he's okay, but teammates gathering in a prayer circle and having a moment of silence for a sprained ankle is objectively hilarious."
But they don't know it's a sprained ankle at the time because we've all rolled our ankles severely at some point, and you could come. I mean, that's a dude with a lot of muscle. You covered him in Boise State. He's got a lot of leg muscle, and he could have. I'm going to say phrases that people may not be familiar with, but you know what? When you have ankle dorsiflexion and you have a really good and you're good with proprioception, you can recover from something like that a lot quicker than someone like you or I, right? So I mean, the fact of the matter is, when you're seeing trainers and coaches help people off of a field, you don't know what's going on. You immediately go into a prayer.
That mocking on the prayer circle got quite the response. That got 1 million views.
Wow.
On Twitter. People do not like when you mock on prayer and you mock on their team. And you mock on a guy who's well-liked in Ashton Genty. This guy, Zach, after getting hundreds of comments murdering him, said, "What an effing travesty it is that so many people are just so openly miserable. I scrolled through maybe 5 replies to this, and everyone is angry as hell at absolutely nothing." Actually, who's the one who is the effing travesty and openly miserable? The one who was laughing at folks for being scared about an injury? Pot calling the kettle black, no? And this is what we get. This is what we get on social media is people have to come up with kind of a snappy response. And by the way, this guy actually says he's a media person, says he's a Packers writer. We're going to give you a good example. That press conference yesterday with Dan Mullen where he said he's going to play 2 quarterbacks. He's not going to name a starter.
Yeah. My
God, people run with it. And it is deja vu. It is the same exact Groundhog's Day moment as last year, but people don't remember anything past 5 minutes ago. And if I see one more time on the Jackson Arnold, Alex Orji, combo quarterback situation, which, by the way, Mullen never said that. He said they will both play. the line that I've seen over and over and over again, if I can now find it because I just had it punched up, is, well, whatever. Basically, if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. Boy, that's a gem.
Now back to Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
I love this man who's on the way. I mean, just giving us good internet's material. Willie Cofield. Ray Brewer is up from the Las Vegas Sun. He joins us every other week. What's up, Ray?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
We're good. You were the star of the press conference yesterday. Very appreciative that you pushed Dan Mullen on the starting quarterback, who it's going to be, and then even snapped at him when you're like, all right, I understand. You don't know the first play. What about the second?
Yeah. The good news is when he was walking out, I shook the man's hand because I get what he's trying to do. I think he's playing coy. He doesn't want to name a starter because maybe Memphis is also doing the same thing. I sure hope that's the fact because you hope with the money they invest in a transfer from the SEC that athlete would emerge as the best passer of the two. Especially we saw Alex Orji last year. He wasn't a great passer on what we saw in limited reps last season.
Do you have any doubt that is the case, that Arnold has won the job and will get the lion's share of the snaps?
I don't know.
He got you. He got you.
Yeah, it's just when you. Maybe I'm a little disguised because Alex Orji is such a great interview and he's so positive, and I actually think he's going to be a really good football coach. And maybe I'm disguised with it a little bit, and there's no mistaking. He's competing with someone who struggled at Oklahoma, lost the job, struggled at Auburn, lost the job, and this is kind of like a Hail Mary to save his career. So if he didn't win it outright, or if neither of them have pulled away, does that mean that UNLV football isn't a playoff contender, which I think Steve and I definitely believe they are, and I think Willie might think so too.
Ray, my question is, instead of all three of us trying to figure out what Mullen is thinking, if Ray Brewer's the coach, who's starting, Arnold or Orji, point blank?
I'm Arnold. He throws the ball better, and there's not much of a difference in the running abilities. And UNLV's going to run the rock. They've got Jaden, who's all-time histories on all kind of watch lists. They're going to run the ball well. The offensive line is way improved, and the quarterback, no matter who it is going to definitely add to that. But eventually, you're going to have to complete a pass. And which one of the two quarterbacks is the better passer? No. Well, if it's Alex Orji, we're in trouble because, God bless, he couldn't do it last year.
As someone, that's been here all his life, we're both obviously excited for the past 3 years going into the fourth year with the uptick of this program. How excited are you about this season compared to the last three and where this program has gone, where it's going? Where's this season rank for you in terms of your expectations?
I mean, I'm just the amount of love we have for UNLV in this city, and Willie, you and I, we grew up here, and we could recite where we were during UNLV basketball Final Four games, or when they beat Iowa in the Elite Eight in 1987. And to have UNLV have success gives the whole community of fans a reason to celebrate. When you see an actual pathway, and when you consider that we always talked about the potential of UNLV football, and the bar had always been 6 wins. Yeah. That's the bar. You have to win 6 games. Can you win 6 games? If you win 6 games, we're going to name a street after you. We're going to put you in the School Hall of Fame. But we think that UNLV could one day be what they've turned out to be, right? We knew when they were at Sam Boyd Stadium, they had to get a better venue. They got it in Allegiant Stadium. Tony Sanchez, God bless him, his relationship with the Fertittas, the Fertittas' generosity, their love for UNLV brought the Fertitta football complex. And it's Las Vegas, right? You got all these pro sports teams here now. The Strip is this great block of land, and you should be able to recruit to Las Vegas as good as any other city in the league.
Ray, two things. One, I remember when the bar was 1 win, and that was over UNR. And two, UNLV Iowa, I was at the old Money Plays on West Flamingo drinking yard glasses of beer.
Wow. I was on a soccer trip in the Bay Area, and we were listening to the game in a van, the old Roadrunner FC football soccer club.
Ray Brewer's with us, Las Vegas Sun. On the expectations thing, I think the reason that while some people are cautiously optimistic, fans can lean into this because the coach is leaning into it. I was actually surprised that Mullen said of the Memphis game that this is a big game and this may mean a lot come November. I mean, basically he's admitting, hey, those are the goals that we expect to have a really good record in November, and this game means something.
Well, and this is what I love about Dan Mullen is his voice is important in college football. Remember, in between Florida and UNLV, he was on ESPN. He was very well liked. He was very popular. And he knows to get one of these 12 spots, which, Steve, is worth millions, you have to sell your program, right? You have to say, yeah, we're a good team to get in this 12 spot. We're better than Boise. We wish we could play Boise, even though they're in a new league now. And I think Mullen knows he's got to sell what they're doing. And gosh darn, if you beat Memphis, that's a great starting point in that sales job.
I got a couple questions for you because I'm around the campus a lot. I know you're around the campus a lot. Ray Brewer's with us, Las Vegas Sun. Where was that digital sign that you pointed out that had some sort of error on it? Was it missing letters or bulbs, or did it actually misspell Tarkanian?
It misspelled Tarkanian. It spelled Tarkanian T-R-A, and it was over by the McDermott complex. So you're going to the UNLV presser first day of school trying to find a free spot in the track area.
Yeah.
Can't find it. I'm driving around, and I see the digital sign, and I'm thinking to myself, what if at Duke they misspelled Krzyzewski, which is, trust me, easy to do, but it would be a sacrilege, and we have to kind of respect the people that came before us, and Jerry Tarkanian's Jerry Tarkanian.
Good point. Around campus, I was looking to work a little bit this morning and get a rare breakfast. Plus, yesterday was National Waffle Day, so I was like, you know what? I am getting me a waffle because I haven't had enough waffles this year. I feel like the area around UNLV has gotten a little barren for breakfast joints. Or maybe I just wasn't thinking of one.
Well, so breakfast probably not a popular item among students who struggle to get up on time.
Sure.
But I will say I've always worried about Maryland Parkway and how the middle of the town has kind of deteriorated a little bit. But with all the construction and the new builds and the food options and now the new rapid transit bus line, what a great resource for the university, getting students in and out and giving them opportunities to further enjoy the collegiate experience, if you will.
Hell, even Mullen was complaining about traffic yesterday. I think he was talking about going to the west side, maybe through City Center there on Harmon. But, that Maryland thing, when I was driving up and down Maryland today, I'm like, are they ever going to finish this? Like, it's getting close with their $82 billion project that's taking 19 years. But get it done. Let's go. All right. There was a newcomer on campus today, and he's not really the center of any controversy because there's been more controversial additions the last couple of days in college football and college basketball. What is your reaction to A.J. Storr, a late pickup, but could be the leading scorer for Josh Pastner's team?
Well, I'm going to be hypocritical here, Steve, because I hate the NFL player going back to LSU, and I hate all the transfer here, year after year, new university. And we know A.J. Storr, this is going to be his, fifth collegiate program. And we know before there he had 3 high school programs in a row, including Bishop Gorman. But guess what? I don't care. The kid can score. And UNLV needs people that can score. They need people that can play basketball. Eventually you have to get to the NCAA tournament. And this is a huge get. It's an accomplished player who has put the ball in the basket in major conferences. And all power to me being a hypocrite, Steve.
Absolutely. We were just talking last week with our attorney friend, Justin Watkins, who was saying, hey, in this era of unpredictability and there's no rules and you can kind of push the envelope, that both Nevada schools should be hyper-aggressive. Frankly, politicians, public servants should be aggressively behind them. I didn't get a chance to ask the question yesterday at the press conference, but I think at the coaches show tomorrow, check that, Thursday, Dan Mullen coaches show debuts for 2026. I think I'm going to jump on Mike and kind of lay into him a little bit about why he didn't go and get Daquan Wright. Why not try to beat out LSU? Why not get an NFL-like tight end?
Exactly. And there comes a point where, like the Big Ten passed legislation that they wouldn't do it. But if other universities are doing it and it could enhance your club, why not put the players in your program in position to have the most memorable experience and win games? I get the argument. You have players that have been here all spring and all summer, and it's not kosher to recruit over them. I really do get that. But if you have a chance to shore up your roster and bring somebody in that could get you to the playoff, and if you're Dan Mullen, absolutely go for it, man.
I'm not trying to be facetious, but what would better honor the memory of Jerry Tarkanian if Dan Mullen was fighting with the NCAA, was a leader on that front, and actually he is fighting, a little bit with him for some eligibility on some players. We're still waiting on the eligibility of Cohen Fuller. All right, speaking of big boys and recruiting, Bishop Gorman got a gigantic win against St. John Bosco. How was the game, and how good is this quarterback?
So the game was awesome. 5,000 people, standing room only. All week there was a ton of hype surrounding it, and the game actually lived up to the hype, right? 28-28 going into the fourth quarter. National audience. There was so much media there. People taking pictures, reporters. It was just a huge environment, really preparing those kids on both teams to go play in college. Ace Amine, the quarterback from Gorman, 4 touchdown pass that the kid he was competing with transferred out 7 hours after the game. Go ahead and put your editorial comments in there. But what a fun night in Las Vegas, man.
Yeah, what happened with the backup?
Got beat out. He's going to KU. He's a 3-star recruit. I couldn't figure out, and we talked about this, I think, 2 months ago on your show, why he would come into Gorman, because Ace had, waited his turn, if you will. He was the backup. He had all these offers. It's a Gorman family, right? His younger brother is a freshman and now the backup quarterback. And, were they bringing Chance Thomas in to compete with the kid? Were they bringing Chance Thomas in to sharpen the kid up and create a competition? Did they go out and solicit him to come in? Did he just automatically arrive? But we got the solution 2 games in, new high school.
Ray, 1 minute. Where does this team rank among the 3-time undefeated champs from, almost 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's weird. You're the second person, Willie, that's asked me this in the last few days. And to me, the best Gorman team was that last team of the 3 in a row, the 2016 team. Yep. Tate Martell, senior year, National Player of the Year. First game, they went into Dallas, and they played on national television, a top 5 team on ESPN Saturday afternoon. Yep. Humidity like you couldn't imagine. And they went and won the game pretty convincingly. Tate went off. That team had Haskell Garrett, who went to Ohio State, Tyjon Lindsey, who went to Nebraska, Ollie Walsh to Cal. They were just loaded at every position. A real fun team to watch. To me, that's the best Gorman team. And this team right here is not close right now to being that team.
I remember that the game that I remember from that season, correct me if I'm wrong, this was that season, was when St. Thomas Aquinas came here, and the star of that game was Bubba Bolden, if you remember, and he blocked a huge field goal attempt, and it came down the end. But I remember Michael Irvin being on the sidelines, and he was talking to a couple of us that were covering the game, and he looked down and he was like marveling over the team, but then he said, my understanding is the backup quarterback's the starting receiver, and he might even be better next year. And he was talking about Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and he had the scouting report. I just thought it was impressive because Irvin had the whole breakdown of Gorman.
Yeah, and DTR ends up going to the NFL and playing quarterback in the NFL, and it just goes to show you the amount of talent that Gorman has produced. And a lot of these kids, I know Gorman gets a knock for the players they get from out of the area, and I know I personally take a lot of knocks for being a Gorman homer. But if you look at the trajectory of the program since Tony Sanchez became coach in, the spring of 2008, they have put a lot of kids into college, and they've put a lot of kids into the pros. And, many of those kids were Vegas kids who grew up playing Pop Warner or NYS or whatever it was.
Ray, good spot, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen Willie. Bye-bye.
At Ray Brewer 21. At Ray Brewer 21, Las Vegas Sun. You remember back to that 2016 season, Gorman did go down to Texas. The team they beat was Cedar Hill. They beat them 44-14, and David Wetzel, who was the head of the Texas High School Coaches Association, whined and whined about Bishop Gorman and recruiting and how tough they were. And okay, buddy. Okay, Texas. Up yours, Greg Abbott!
The 15 to the outside.
The Rebels.
Sent by Dice Pylon.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
Yeah, this last week or so, as a bunch of super seniors through court cases have popped up on college basketball rosters and college football rosters. Again, the same crew that whines and pisses and moans. Actually, there's two different crews. There's the college football overlords who are like, God, my God, we have no rules. And the rules we have, no one will freaking honor because we just keep going to court and getting beat because all of our stuff, they don't admit this part, all of our stuff is completely un-American. Mm-hmm. And then there's the kind of dopey old school fan who every year at every turn, every time something like this happens, says that college football is being ruined. And meanwhile, college football's ratings are higher than ever. They're making more money than ever. Attendance is higher in most places than ever. So it flies in the face of your claims. It's not being ruined. You're just uncomfortable that new frontiers are being broached. And it shines a light again on the fact that the NCAA is never in front of anything. And today they tried to get in front of it. The Big Ten did. And everyone's lauding it.
Yeah. And
now this all stems from Daquan Wright, this guy in the Browns, who said, hey, I'm not going to make the Browns, so I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go to LSU. Lane Kiffin's like, hey, the opening is there. If other people are going to do it, let's beat them to the punch. Let's grab them.
Through them winning their injunction and entry into the portal, they're available to recruit. And so ourselves, like many places around the country, are recruiting them. And at the end of the day, because of these rulings, they're either going to play for you or they're going to play somewhere else around the country. So we've made a decision to recruit them like probably most people are.
He's a weird guy in press conferences, isn't he? He was like very sheepish. And he's not like that normally. He's a confident guy. But I have no problem with him. I saw someone say, a couple things. That in the battle of Lane Kiffin and Dabo Swinney, LSU is playing Clemson in week 1, right? Next week? That the entire country is rooting for Dabo Swinney. Who? What? I ain't rooting for Dabo Swinney. Wait, you mean I'm going to root for the guy who said he would retire if they ever pay college players? That's the guy I'm going to root for? Because he didn't retire. And he's still making his $12 million. I'm not rooting for him. I'm rooting for the guy who is win at all cost. I'm rooting for the guy who tries to find every edge. Because you know what the fans in that market want? Every edge. The door's open. And like Kiffin said, if I don't get him, someone else will.
The edge in which he stated that he's never had, that he's claimed to never have, right? Didn't he make a statement along those lines? Ole Miss, he said, I didn't have that edge. So he went to LSU. And if the loophole's there, by all means, if it's not there and he's not breaking any rules. If he was breaking a rule, it'd be different.
So meanwhile, the basketball team, you remember they fired the coach there because he wasn't doing a whole lot with his money. And unfortunately last year, the reason LSU really got screwed was DJ Thomas, not his fault, but DJ got hurt. They were like 13-1 when DJ got hurt, and then they went the crapper. So Will Wade is stolen from NC State back to LSU because LSU is like, we don't care. Let's go. Which, by the way, when you think back, you remember all the kvetching and moralizing many of us did, me included, about UNLV back in the day with Rick Pitino over and over and over again. We're like, oh, you just can't bring him here. You should have brought him here. Now that we look back, we want to rewrite history. What was the difference, right? Look what he's doing at St. John's. Speaking of St. John's, one of their best players from last year, he just did one of these challenges. He is now signed with LSU, and I mentioned the other day Donovan Dent, who played for New Mexico and UCLA, he signed with LSU. So I also saw this one where someone on Twitter was like, it's amazing that LSU has the two most hated coaches in the country for men's college basketball and football. I don't hate them. I don't hate them.
Yeah, by that person. The people who make comments like that are the ones that, it's anybody. It's those who say Caitlin Clark's the most hated player in the WNBA. It's those who say that Angel Reese is the most hated player in the WNBA.
By you. You know what I mean? No, I didn't mean you specifically, but like that's your case.
Right.
And I'm sure if your coach did it, you'd be fine with it. Just like most UNLV fans, I'm not joking about the Daquan Wright thing. If I have a chance on Thursday to ask Dan Mullen, like, why didn't you go get him? And he'll give an answer. He said the other day, he kind of hinted at it, like he doesn't think it's right. Why not? Why isn't it right? They don't have the rule set.
Well, you can think that it's not right and still abide by the rules, meaning I don't think this is right, but hey, it's within the rules, so I'm going to do it. He just so in Mullen's estimation, it not being right, it's morally not right now because it's right. There's nothing wrong with it if it's in the rule book. You can't get in trouble with it. You're not going to be sanctioned by the NC2A. There's nothing wrong. When you say right now, if you're saying, well, I just don't see what it's right. Like, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right that a pro player should be able to go and play. But that means morally because as of right now, it's right.
Yeah. Funny thing in college basketball, they're all about letting the pros play.
And by the way,
from 3-2-1, they're all about letting the pros play in college basketball from the international waters. Yes. So it's okay to let Serbians and Turkish and French, they can play when they're 24 and they've already played pro basketball. I mean, just say it. You either don't know what the issue is, you're not aware of it, or you hate America. Because we're denying Americans opportunities. The 5-5 seniors, the Americans who want to come back after playing in the G League, oh, you hate them. But if your school gets, Franz Binkelwitz from whatever, Germany, oh, we're good. Yeah, but he played pro. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. It's true. It's true.
So here's what happened today. Now, one, I think they're trying to clean it up. Two, I think they were trying to get ahead of it and troll the SEC because the SEC is now going to have to deal with Lane Kiffin and LSU bringing in this kid, Daquan Wright, from the Browns. Rule comes down today. Big Ten rule banning NFL players has officially passed with unanimous faculty rep approval. Now, before we even get into what the rule is, what's the key thing missing here? Did you get the athlete's approval? Because this is what they effing do every time. And this is why they're in this situation. We're going to set rules that, again, are un-American and not legal in court. But I'll back off screaming and yelling about it because here's why they passed this. You know what they passed it for? It ain't to scare the kids. It ain't to scare the NFL guys from coming back. It's to put a leash on the coaches. And those are the guys you have to worry about. Because like I said with Kiffin, if they see a loophole, they're going to take advantage of it. If they see coach down the road doing it, well, then I'm doing it. So this is a rule they've put in place to basically send a message to all the coaches, don't do it. Will it work? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if all the Big Ten coaches can stick together and if all the Big Ten faculty and presidents can stick together.
But, so, yeah, I guess it is. It's tough. It's tough because if the Big Ten sets a ruling, but it's sort of like a state law versus a federal law. Mm-hmm. Is basically what it is. Yeah.
Frankly, I hope since the Big Ten set this rule, I hope the SEC takes 10 of these guys this week. Yeah, we're not doing that. And then the Big Ten will have a conniption, and then coaches in Ohio State, Ryan Day, will be like, shaking in his office. I need a pro. And the funny thing is, at this stage of the game, Willie, you really don't need that player. It's a pretty late addition, and they're probably not going to be a contributor until 4 or 5, 6 weeks, if at all.
But in reality, the Big Ten can set the rule, and we never know what's going to happen until a Big Ten coach challenges it, and then they take the appeal to the NC2A, which Big Ten operates under, and then that'll be the final ruling. And you know who this will be a great question for? Tomorrow's show will be really good. Justin Watkins, Battleborn Studio.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
All right, time for our UNLV game report on this Tuesday. Week 0 game is just 4 days away. Was out of practice today, watching the fine-tuning, one of our last chances to check things out, and I caught up with senior nickel Mumu Ben Wahad, as he's a returning kind of starter. It brings experience back, and we got right into the Tuesday practice, and I asked him, what did Mullen say after practice today?
Really just focusing on third downs, introducing third downs and then cleaning up our first down stuff. Honestly, just trying to focus on our effort on defense and then on offense, putting in new installs and stuff like that to, not overwhelm us, get us ready for the game.
So you're back. Why'd you come back?
It's a blessing to just have this opportunity. It's a blessing to be around these coaches, these players. It's a special place, so it's not like anywhere else in the country. So it's a blessing that, they wanted me back, and it's a blessing that I was able to come back,
Have you followed some of the conversation around guys who are trying to come back now kind of late, right? And then I see older people are like, hey, once you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
Now it's pro ball in college. And I always want to remind people, like, there is another element to this, and that is the extra level of education too. But what do you say to people who are like, hey, once you're done, you're done?
I mean, everybody has a different story. So, you can't judge or fault anybody for taking a path that they take. If anything, you can support them and, try to get the best, out of that situation. So I'm not really judging anybody for whatever decision they choose to make. If they want to keep a 10th year or whatever it may be, everybody, trying to figure this thing out. So
when did you know you were coming back?
Honestly, as soon as the season was over, when we was at Boise, I knew when that clock hit 0, we had unfinished business. We had to bring the trophy here. So that's when I knew.
Off season, so off the field, away from the game, what'd you do to try to better yourself?
Honestly, just working on a lot of straight line speed, a lot of change of direction, just a lot of DB stuff, trying to focus on my game as a whole, because I know a lot of people focus on one thing during the offseason and then they come into camp or come into season deficient in other things. So just trying to focus on well-rounded my game so that way when I got back here, I could pad on to that, the foundation I already built in the offseason.
How about the mental part of things and maturity?
No question. No, definitely getting more mature. I could always, be a fiery player. I play real emotional. So just having guys around me in my room that really help me, stay grounded and stay level-headed throughout all that,
You told me at Malamut's Conference Media Day about mentors, and you mentioned Mohamed Sanu. So tell people who he is and how he's helped you.
No question. He's an Atlanta Falcons legend. He was won a Super Bowl there, won an NFC championship. He's one of the better receivers to ever play the game. So just him doing what I want to do, it kind of helps me, it's like a roadmap. He kind of gives me all the answers to the test. So I just got to go answer me.
Talking to Mumu Ben Wahad here as we're getting ready for the Memphis game, UNLV, coming up on Saturday. So tell people what the responsibilities are at the nickel.
Quarterback of the defense. You get everybody lined up and make sure there's no bust. You got to be accountable if anything goes wrong. It's your fault. And, I relish that. That's why I'm here. Coach knows I'm an older veteran guy. I've seen a lot of different looks. So I'm ready to take accountability for anything that we do, right or wrong.
Is Gunther and Shear, are they bringing some different things to the defense and different responsibilities for the nickel?
No question. Like Coach Shear, he's really tapped in on the run game. He really knows a lot about just that box. So me sitting in there, kind of getting that part of my game and kind of having the other safeties in there, seeing what he's presenting. And then Coach Gunn is Coach Gunn. He's an NFL, he's an NFL guy. So him making sure that we're professional and getting better every day and taking steps forward, not steps back. That's been the biggest thing that those guys have brought.
So the Memphis game plan, you don't have to reveal what exactly you guys are working on, but we heard from their side they're probably going to go fast.
Yeah.
So first game, what's that challenge of them going fast?
It's not a challenge. It's just about getting lined up, getting a call in, making sure that your guys are aligned to sign and doing things at a high level. The tempo doesn't change anything, and the ball just gets snapped faster,
Jake Pope told us yesterday that they like to work with wide splits. So explain that to the audience.
I mean, that just means usually a slot receiver will be lined up a yard outside or a yard inside of the hash versus these guys. Their slot receiver could be 5 yards outside the hash, which doesn't make a difference. Our offense probably does the same thing. We see it. Any look that we need to see, these coaches make sure that we see it and we're ready for it. So just by going out there and executing and playing your game, not trying to let them change what you do.
When you're prepping for a team, and you guys are kind of doing the same thing to Memphis, where Mullen's not announcing who the starting quarterback is. Charles Huff, the coach of Memphis, has not announced who the starter is. It could be Marcus Stokes, could be Aaron Nolan. Stokes righty, Nolan lefty.
Yeah.
Do you guys work on stuff like that? Does that change things for you much?
No, I mean, Coach Gunn probably knows, same way I think. It doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. It doesn't matter who's catching the ball. It's about, like you said, what we do, lining up, assigning, making sure we're all on the same page cohesively. That's all that really matters. We don't really care who's throwing it, to be honest.
We can talk generically about goals for the season, but I noticed yesterday there was a certain confidence about Mullen in terms of what he expects. Like he was talking about this Memphis game could be really big in November, and that's not looking ahead, but there's a standard that's been set. Can you kind of feel that? And does the locker room feel it, that last year was really good, but not good enough?
Yeah, I mean, that's the standard around here. We go to championships. We compete at a high level, at the highest of levels. And I talked to a few of the guys the other day. You could get all the noise about we're going to go to the playoff and we're going to play this team or that SEC team in the playoff. But really, at the end of the day, it's what the Rebels do. Whatever we do at a high level, that's going to show on Saturdays, and that's going to ultimately get us to the promised land.
What was the best thing that you guys did as a defensive back group in terms of bonding away from the game? You go hang out somewhere, you get dinner somewhere.
We do a lot, man. We always try new spots, going out, hanging out at somebody's house. My house has been the hot spot as of late, apparently. So, it's just always getting together with those guys. Even if it's on a ping pong table, Trey and Avery Helm, they got a crazy ping pong tournament going on. So it's always, stuff, even if you're in the locker room bonding to keep us together and make sure we tight,
You're a confident, outspoken guy. This Avery Helm is interesting. We talked to him about a week ago, and he's not super talkative, but when he does talk, you're like, ooh, okay, he carries a little bravado with him.
I love Avery, bro. He's a guy we needed in the room for sure. He's an older guy. He understands the highs and lows, not only of a game, but a game day and the small stuff that maybe a lot of younger guys haven't seen as much. He understands it, and he's a fiery player. He's a great player. He's fiery, so I don't want y'all to get that mistaken. He definitely, once it's on, it's on. So I'm excited to line up out there with him.
Last one with Mumu bin Wahad. I always like to ask veterans in what could be their final year, when they look down the roster or behind them on the depth chart, is there a guy that you look at and you're like, that's going to be one of the guys? I've done that with the offensive line for 6 years, and the old lineman has actually nailed it multiple times. I think the last time around, I forget who I was asking, but they pointed out Amari Tase. Yeah. They were like, hey, that guy's going to be good, and now Amari is in the starting lineup. Is there someone behind you, a young guy, either a corner, safety, nickel?
Yeah, I mean, I know Landon Cleveland, he plays the boundary for us right now. He's made a bunch of plays on the ball. I think me and him had the most interceptions, this past camp. So he's a guy that's, when he gets in the game, it's going to be a lot of physical. It's going to be a lot of ball production. And it's another guy I'm excited to just be out there and play with. I'm excited for this whole room, to be honest,
All right. We'll see you Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
There you go, Mumu. I will see him Saturday night. He's one of the guys who will, I'm a nobody, but he'll always come over and give me a little fist bump. He pays attention. He's very observant of what's going around, and he's the starting nickelback for UNLV. Avery Helm, who I mentioned, is in from TCU and Florida. He started for Mullen 2021, his redshirt freshman year. He's on the mend, so I think he's 90, 95%. It's going to be interesting. That's the linchpin with this team, Willie, is that defensive backfield. Got to be a lot better than last year if you want to finish the mission, and the mission is winning the Mountain West Conference title and getting to the CFP.
Do you think with the new look conference, I understand the idea that you need to upgrade and the secondary is going to be important, but do you think with the new look conference, a little bit more of a smash mouth, North Dakota State specifically, but that the defense is going to need to be strongest up front in the trenches or
back end?
Back end.
I think they'll be fine against the run. Back end. So I got something coming up that I think we're going to have some fascination with, and I think the niche audience on social media is going to like a lot. Yeah. Something's happened with Memphis in terms of the machinations before the game. Remember, this weekend, Whiskey Stadium is a place to pregame with Willie Ramirez from 5 to 7, $1.95 Miller Lite Draft. You can win Rebel gear. It's Whiskey Stadium, 5 to 7, Whiskey Stadium right across from Allegiant Stadium before the game.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
4 o'clock hour as we are statewide. This hour in part brought to you by our friends at Jackson's Bar and Grill, 6020 West Flamingo and Jones, home of the best value steak in town. Frankly, one of the best value steaks in the country. That's what Tasting Table said, naming Jackson's Bar and Grill as having one of the 7 best steaks under $30 in the entire country. 1 pound ribeye, $22. Garlic marinated bistro filet, $22. You get the side, you get your choice of another side, great dessert board, 24/7 happy hour. By the way, if you don't want steak, and I always talk about steak, their menu is loaded with other items, including a special menu right now that has the entree, and there's many entrees on the special menu. Broken leg of lamb. Snap, snap. Let's go. Yum, yum. Chew, chew. I don't know why I did the choo choo. Anyway, Jackson's Bar and Grill, 6020 West Flamingo. I'm very excited about the news that's coming down, and it's so nerdy media stuff. We need to get to it. Big Four time.
Battleborn Injury Lawyers presents The Big Four at 4. Number 4.
I'll admit I got caught there. I got enthusiastic about food. We also have a cat at home named Chewy. So maybe sometimes I will yell out, hey, what's going on, choo-choo? So I screwed up there. I gave too much myself. Now, here's where I'm getting kind of giddy. And this is so silly, but this is the kind of stuff I love. So earlier today, we got this Memphis UNLV game coming up. Yeah. Earlier today, I'm watching Charles Huff, the Memphis coach, and Charles Huff was even more demonstrative than Mullen was yesterday. Dan Mullen's like, I'm not naming a starting quarterback. I don't know what the first play is. Ray Brewer followed it up. He's like, well, we get that, but like after that, who's going to play? And he's like, I don't know what the second play is. So he just kept going with it, right? He's not going to reveal it. He didn't last year. Charles Huff said today he's not going to reveal it. There is a gamesmanship to this. He also brought up something I've rarely heard a coach talk about, and he said, hey, if I name a starting quarterback, then all of a sudden I might have agents on the phone griping to me about their particular quarterback. Now, I know that is something that's in the process. I know that is actually a really good reason to not name a starting quarterback, to make sure your backup stays around. Hell, we had a weird case here at Bishop Gorman where the freaking high school backup decided to leave and went to Virginia, right? There could and UNLV's had experience with this in the past, right? Now, it wasn't exactly the way it went down, but Matt Sluka went kind of bonkers, and he was gone after 3 weeks, and it worked out with Hajj Malik Williams. But anyway, so here's the latest update. UNLV Communications says Memphis on the whole starting quarterback thing, right? Not naming the starting quarterback. No depth chart. There's no depth chart. It's not coming out. You will not get a depth chart at all. You won't know who is in the 1s, the 2s, the 3s at all before Saturday's game. This is so silly. It's so silly. Now, what is UNLV going to do?
They'll do the same thing, as they should.
Yep.
100%.
Why not?
You got to play the game. I mean, why would you?
Week 0, baby.
Let's go.
We're off and running.
Let's go. And you know what? Here's the thing. People may think this is silly, but we're not the only ones. Just because we're in Las Vegas and Steve extensively covering UNLV, me to a lesser degree, nationally, they're saying this is the Group of 6 game of the month. This is the big game. Preseason, meaning before conference play starts, they're calling this the game. The two teams that, where if they have to refer back to a matchup to determine that 12th team, this could be it. So there's a reason that there's a lot of gamesmanship taking place. There's a reason we're seeing this go on. That's the importance of UNLV versus Memphis.
Okay. I need your advice. We'll do it live on the air.
Okay.
What should I do? Matt Nevert asked me yesterday. He's the voice of the Rebels. He asked me yesterday, hey, do you have a depth chart? And I said, yes, I do. It's just based on what I've seen and my healthy guesses.
Okay.
I sent that to him and Caleb this morning.
You asked me, should you put it out?
What'll happen when I do?
I
don't think I'll get a good reaction from UNLV at all.
Well, first of all, you can put out whatever you want regardless of what UNLV says. But the key thing is, well, you know what? To be honest with you,
I also don't know that it's 100% accurate either.
No, to be honest,
there's some other issues in terms of
well, let me clarify.
Like
If I had a depth chart, if I had been out there, if I had been going out there and I was covering the team, or let's say other beat writers, and they put it out there, there's nothing wrong with that. They wouldn't have to they wouldn't have to ask anybody. You do to a you're an extension.
It's a little different
of the broadcast
I'm part
team.
of the broadcast team.
Yes.
Because I've noticed the New Mexico writers
so you can't do that.
report on injuries a lot more than maybe I do.
Right. So, but what would be entertaining is the feedback from Memphis. like Memphis tweeters, Memphis fans, people that follow Memphis that are looking for that hashtag UNLVFB, whatever it may be, and their response. That
I love this.
Yeah.
Because it's such gamesmanship.
Yeah.
And
poker.
by the way, what Charles Huff is doing is actually not that odd. Right. This is a nip and tuck game. Right now it's back down to a 5.5-point spread with Memphis and UNLV in week 0. Florida State is playing New Mexico State and our buddy Tony Sanchez. Mike Norvell, the Florida State coach, no depth chart. Staying right now for the entire season.
Really?
Again,
Is it going to change week to week?
This is more of a media thing in terms of prepping for the game. But this is the kind of gamesmanship that happens, and it's on, man. People are competitive. Coaches are competitive. Believe me, but I think both sides have a pretty good idea of who's going to be getting the lion's share of the snaps. And you should prep for both guys anyway. I don't think the offense completely changes. All 4 of these quarterbacks are similar enough that the game plans wouldn't change that much if the backup is in
What
there.
do you say to the people who are complaining and moaning that by Mullen, the phrase that he used in terms of both quarterbacks will play or whatever it was is taking it to the next step, and all these fans are like, oh, pack it in, season's over.
Yeah.
You can't do it. We've seen how that works. Nope, it's over.
I guess I'm not shocked because fans just don't know. And they're even when they watch the video clips, I don't think they're picking up on tone. And when you're around a coach enough, you kind of get what they're saying. Yeah, both quarterbacks will play. Okay, so that could mean one gets 64 snaps and the other gets 3. Both played, right? That's what I said. But, man, people are running with it. Number 3.
Number 3.
And this is such a good lesson. Now that we're on in Reno, I'm not going to overreact to this because I don't know what the true long-range story is. Nevada, I don't want to say made a big deal. They kind of did. They made a big splash by going in the transfer portal and landing UCLA transfer Luke Duncan. JVT likes the kid so much that he nicknamed him already Sir Dunk. Now, that's from Game of Thrones because there was a Sir Dunk.
Okay.
Luke Duncan is brought into the program. He has, for the first game, not won the job. The holdover from last year, Carter Jones will be the starter. Now, should we race to some conclusion like, oh my God, Choate's in trouble, the transfer quarterback he brought in didn't get the job done? I will not do that because I don't know the exact situation on the ground. If they feel like, hey, Duncan is not ready now, Carter Jones is a little bit ahead of him, he gives us the best hope right now, Duncan will see playing time at some point during the season. Because that could be the case. And Willie, as we're tracking all the quarterback battles, because there's a lot of them around college football, it could be very close in a lot of situations where on the ground, the assumption is, you know what, it is going to be a battle that continues for a few more weeks. So Carter Jones will be the starting quarterback against Western Kentucky, September 5th. Jeff Choate is not going to keep it close to the vest. He did announce it.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be just a situation where the incumbent is, he what did he start the last 7 games as a true freshman?
He played against UNLV.
Completed 64.3% of his passes. Only 6 touchdowns, and he did throw 8 interceptions, so he better have improved from that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that Choate said to me at Mountain West Conference Media Day, not that this is the gospel, but he did point out that he's tried to explain to Carter Jones that he wants him to run a lot more, which you don't ever hear that, or you rarely hear that. But he's a dual-threat quarterback, and I think they want that second part of the threat, so maybe he's finally getting it, and they look at him and they're like, hey, this is the kind of offense we want to run. We want to have a dual-threat guy.
Well, and you want to have that familiarity. You want to have that mobility when your scheme is in that, right? So perhaps there's developmental upside with Carter Jones over Duncan, and committing to continuity is a little more safer from a mental standpoint. It doesn't mean that nothing's set in stone. It's Western Kentucky, and I'm not taking anything away from the Hilltoppers, but in reality, Nevada should come in prepared. They've had some down seasons, but this is still traditionally a program that, they should bounce back at some point. So making a decision like this, I will say this, Carter Jones better get the job done. He better answer the call for Choate.
Number 2.
As folks who live in a Group of 6 city, which is kind of insulting. We're really not a Group of 6 city. We're a major city here in Las Vegas. Anytime I see Group of 6 get a chance to go against a Power 4, you're rooting for Group of 6, even if it is a rival in the conference. Hawaii-Stanford's a massive game on the Group of 6 level in the Mountain West. You remember a year ago, Hawaii did beat Stanford down in Honolulu 23-20. Tokyo Toe hit a field goal late in the game. Again, this is a massive one. Only a 3.5-point spread. We're going to talk to Ray Kluever here in about 10 minutes from William Hill. I'm curious to see what the betting is in this one, but massive game for both sides. Stanford cannot afford to start the season with a loss to a Group of 6 team, and it would be a really nice win on the road for Hawaii.
Well, and Hawaii is one of those teams that travels well because I think that, coming over here, I think it's easier for them to travel, obviously, than for teams that go over to Hawaii for obvious reasons. The problem for Stanford, it's playing in desperation mode, right? It comes off a 4-8 season. They haven't posted a full season winning record since 2018, and I think right now somewhat needs some validation. You go over to the ACC, coming from the Pac-12. It's an open. I think another opening season loss is going to immediately intensify questions about the rebuild. And you can say what you want again, say, well, especially against a Mountain West team like Hawaii. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter really the opponent. I think that Stanford just needs to come off swinging because if not, as I said, there's going to be a lot of questions. Staff up.
Number 1.
I was just looking up the Stanford schedule to see what the next game after Hawaii. Ooh, okay, they play Miami.
Oh.
So they need to win. And this is certainly, it can't be a look-ahead spot because they lost a year ago. Speaking of schedules, that was the segue. Speaking of schedules, we don't get Caitlin Clark and what's the other lady's name? Kelsey Mitchell? I'm kidding. We don't get them until Friday again when Clark is on this heater and the Fever on this heater.
It's not going to slow them down. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell right now, I said it yesterday, the deadliest backcourt in the WNBA right now. She's playing really well. I mean, she's creeping up into the MVP conversation, and I wrote an article that's saying that A'ja Wilson and Olivia Miles have turned this into a two-player race. It's based on the odds. And people are going to hate on that. They've already replied to the tweets of the post of the story. The fact of the matter is you can't come on strong late in the season while the leading candidate continues to play well. It'd be one thing if A'ja started tailing off and Caitlin Clark made this run, but the fact of the matter is neither Olivia Miles nor A'ja Wilson is slowing down. Miles is a legitimate threat because she did a lot of her damage before Nafisa Collier came.
Coming up, Ray Kluever will go behind the counter with William Hill Sportsbooks. We'll find out what's going on this week for Week 0. A lot of new bet options, a lot of college football futures that are really freaking awesome.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
All right, let's do it every Tuesday. We go behind the counter, William Hill Sportsbooks. Ray Kluever helps us out, giving us the story of what's going on at the book. Ray, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how we doing? What a great time to be in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Football is here. Everything changes. It gets wacky and wacky and wacky. You guys have some new things on the William Hill app that we wanted to talk about in terms of wagering. I mean, you guys already have the biggest menu going. What'd you add?
Oh, we added a bunch of stuff, some fun stuff for you gamblers and people want to have a good time. We got an NFL rings and recognition. What you can do is you can pick a player. We've got about 70 of them here. You can pick a player as an example. Let's say, I'm just going to pick one of the long shots. But Fernando Mendoza wins the regular season MVP, and the Raiders win the Super Bowl. There'd be a few happy people here, none of which work at William Hill because the building will crumble if the Raiders ever win the Super Bowl. But that is 1,000 to 1 you can bet. And one of the things that I recommend is to go through, find a team that you think can win the Super Bowl, and then back into it, such as the Lions to win the Super Bowl and Jared Goff wins regular season MVP, 150 to 1. This is nice to throw $5-10 on. There's a bunch of them. Take $100, make 20 bets, $5 a piece. You might hit a lottery.
Speaking with Ray Kluever, William Hill Sports Book. Memphis and UNLV getting things started. Early elimination game, per se, in the college football playoff. Where's the money coming in, Ray?
Well, it started off early with heavy UNLV money. It's coming fast and furious, and it will even more come Saturday with people going to the game. It started off early with UNLV, and now there's some buyback on Memphis. I think people are doing a little more research. I'm not one of the guys who believes in the buyback here. I'll be honest, I got a ticket on UNLV -3 way back when the lines first came up. And I think UNLV's legit this year. I think it's really an exciting time to be a UNLV backer. And I haven't had the opportunity to say that very often in the last 15, 20 years. So it is fun that UNLV literally can compete for a playoff spot. I was reading a bunch of sites over the last few days, and UNLV is from the, let's say, the lesser conferences, is kind of a 50-50 shot to make the playoffs, which also you can bet now at William Hill to make the quarterfinals. We put them up on Saturday, quarterfinals, semifinals, championship game, and UNLV is 70-1 to make it to the quarterfinals of the playoff. This game Saturday will have a lot to do with it. The winner has a shot, Memphis or UNLV, and the loser can basically be eliminated from the playoffs.
So in reality, if you like UNLV and you want to put a little piece on the game, it might be advisable, with every game really being a desperation win. It's a must win to be a part of that stage. Why not get something at plus 700, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's 70-1 is a big number, and you can throw it on there. UNLV to make the quarterfinals. Now, they're probably going to have to win a game in the playoffs to get to the quarters, because you got quarters, semis, championship game. But at 70-1, you got a shot with them. I mean, both of these coaches are really well respected. I mean, Charles Huff was at Marshall, and then he went to Southern Miss and didn't last long there. 1 year later, he goes to Memphis, who has a lot more to offer than Southern Miss or Marshall as far as money. UNLV, similar situation. I'd like to think we're going to keep Dan Mullen around for a while, but I highly doubt it. History doesn't prove that way. As much as I'd love to see him sign him to a lifetime contract, just let him, we'll name streets after him, and we'll put him, when he passes away 100 years from now, we'll darken the strip and things like that. But I don't think that Dan Mullen is meant to be at UNLV for very much longer. I think they got a real shot of having a hell of a season.
Well, one place that they're not going to darken too, I doubt that they'll darken or dim the lights, is probably not in Chapel Hill, not yet. But Bill Belichick better have a better showing this year. They're North Carolina 7.5 against TCU in Dublin.
Yeah, I don't have a side opinion on this. The money's started with TCU. There are a few people buying North Carolina back, and if you watch all the talking heads on TV and most of them on radio, they're all saying, can North Carolina be this bad? Well, their starting quarterback is Billy Edwards, who was at Wisconsin last year, and he looked like Mr. Ed, not Billy Edwards. He's just terrible. And I just can't believe that he won the starting job at North Carolina. I will tell you that I have a strong play myself. It's the only game I bet in week 0. I bet under 49 in this game a while ago. I think the weather's going to be rough. I think it's going to be like watching the British Open on 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and you're going to see clouds, and you're going to see wind, and you're going to see defense. The one thing Belichick has always been able to coach is defense, and I think that he's going to try and control the clock and keep the ball away. And TCU has had some receiver injuries. I really like the under in this game.
San Jose State from the Mountain West opening up with the Big Ten's USC. Big number there.
Yeah, San Jose State, I feel bad for them. They're just not very good. Coach Ken really lost an opportunity when he left Navy, because San Jose really doesn't have a lot to offer. USC can pick their number in this game, and whatever it is, I think it's going to be ugly. I know we've taken a lot of action on the over. I'm just trying to figure out how San Jose State's going to score.
Newest darling in the Mountain West. Everybody's got their eye on him. North Dakota State laying a touchdown to Jacksonville State.
Yeah, this is one that I really liked, Jacksonville State, early, but they've taken too much. It seems like everybody likes Jacksonville State now, and I've reversed my decision. I haven't made a bet, but I'm on the border of making one, and like North Dakota State here, this is going to be their first FBS game ever. They're going to sell it out. It's going to be crazy. It's a dome. You're taking Jacksonville State up there, and the fans are right on top of the field there, and I think it's going to be ugly. Jacksonville State is an extremely talented football team. They really are. They're a very good football team. But I think it's going to be game one jitters, all the pressure, and North Dakota State's going to win by 10-13.
Steve and I just talked about this one. Stanford in a bit of desperation mode this season. Hawaii goes to Palo Alto. It's a revenge game for the Cardinal. Cheap number, or do you take the dog?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Jimmy Chang just signed a 5-year extension at Hawaii. That's a big thing, so stability is a big thing there. You know, Stanford had their coach in Troy Taylor, and then he screwed it up and got fired for misconduct, and they've kind of been backing in to everything ever since Taylor got fired. And, I mean, I don't know. Stanford's kind of tough. Tavita Pritchard comes back in there as the head coach, former Stanford player. Andrew Luck is their GM. And I don't know. I probably have to lean a little bit towards Hawaii and taking the points, and the line is coming that way. I'll be honest, it's a game that I have stay away written all over it. So it could be interesting. I'd like to see Stanford get back on the map again. I think football is better when they're good.
Once again, speaking with Ray Kluever, William Hill Sportsbook. All right, former Gorman coach, former UNLV football coach, now at New Mexico State, Tony Sanchez. Him and the Aggies got Florida State. Big number.
Yeah, I think Tony's going to have to enjoy his last year of coaching in college football. I really believe that New Mexico State hasn't done much to improve their team. I think Mark Norvell has been disrespected. A lot of people don't like him. I don't know. He's the same coach who went 13-0 2 years ago and lost his quarterback, or he would have been in the playoffs. So I'm not necessarily as down on Florida State as most are. I think, again, they can name their own score, whether they run it up or not. But if I was to bet it, which I'm not going to, I would lean towards Florida State in what could be a very ugly game.
Ray Kluever with us, William Hill. Okay, you guys are super aggressive. I don't think I've ever seen this early. The extra games are already up.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting for us, you know, to get these games up this early. Extra games, I mean, the football season really opens on Thursday night. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun to, you know, Mercyhurst and Youngstown State are playing, and Maine and Towson, and, you know, you got to get your Chattanooga, West Georgia fix. It just takes a lot. UT Martin, where Ty Simpson's dad's the coach, is a small favorite, 2.5. You know, if people love football, they're going to bet on this stuff. I'm telling you, they're going to find a way. They're going to do some research. I've read numerous posts on X where guys have their own systems and models and whatever on the extra games, and they're going to come after. Obviously, the limits are lower than they'll be on Saturday Division I, letting it rock, but still a lot of action out there, and obviously a lot of parlay action, a lot of fun.
Ray, we appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you.
Have a great day, guys, and enjoy the weekend.
There he is, Ray Kluever. We will. Football's on the way. You can bet it in parlay form. We'll tell you about some of the parlays in a couple minutes that are available at William Hill. But Pro Pick'em is rocking and rolling. The sign-ups are underway. You can play the William Hill Pro Pick'em football contest. No spreads, no guesswork. You just pick the winners, take your shot at a share of over $1.2 million in cash prizes, just $25 to get in. You're instantly in the game. You compete every week for your share of $10,000 in weekly payouts, and then there's a massive bonus with 215 wins where you could score $1 million cash bonus. Got to do it before kickoff on Sunday, September 13th. To find a location to sign up at and all the details, williamhill.us.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
So these are fast-moving times around college sports because you've had all these eligibility arguments and court stepping in and rightly saying the NCAA doesn't know what it's doing. It's un-American. You're violating people's rights. None of this is collectively bargained. You never ask the athletes for their take on it. You just set rules that in any other workplace are not legal. So as a result, the last week has gotten really crazy because they passed that 5-5 thing where kids can play, 5 years in college, but they didn't really have a determination with the 2022 class. And so we've had a bunch of guys try to come back. Right now, by a bunch of court rulings, they're able to play. I have no idea what this is going to mean now that the Big Ten has come down with a rule, and so has the SEC. I'll go to the SEC's rule. It says, following meetings with the presidents, chancellors, and athletics directors of the SEC conference, we're going to enforce the following policy. An SEC institution is not permitted to have an athlete on its roster who has one previously declared for the NFL. Now, this is what I like, because now it's going to get real ugly. Has previously declared for the NFL, the NBA, or WNBA draft, and did not appropriately withdraw. Now, one thing I would like added in there, where is any pro basketball or any pro football? Why not specify that? Now, it does say here, signed a contract with an NFL or other professional football league. Okay. NBA, G League, or WNBA team, or has been listed on an NFL or other professional league, NBA, G League, or WNBA, or affiliate roster. The commissioner is authorized to enforce this expectation with penalties against member institutions. There's one thing missing. What was your story about Kim Mulkey? What'd she say?
International.
What'd she just do? By the way, Will Wade, international players, and 5-5s. He's like, I'm doing it. Lane Kiffin, LSU football. Daquan Wright, try and bring back the NFL guy. And Kim Mulkey brought in who? Some Russian lady?
Not a lady, Steve. Not a lady.
She's 28.
Anna Maneva, a 17-year-old 6'5" center, not technically a transfer, and I'm probably butchering her last name, an international freshman who previously played professionally for MBA Moscow. She averaged approximately 11.2 points, 9.6 rebounds across 29 games during the 25-26 season. Her signing became a major story because LSU's Ukrainian center, Kate Koval, subsequently left the program for personal reasons, air quotes. Koval's father serves in the Ukrainian military. Mulkey acknowledged the sensitivity, but said she could not allow international conflict to determine whom LSU recruits.
This seems like a story that was in The Onion. Like, this is satire. She went into the belly of the beast of the Russian-Ukraine conflict, lost a Ukrainian player, and picked up a Russian. And she's openly saying, you're not going to stop me from doing it. And international beefs are not my problem. Kim Mulkey, also LSU.
The Guardian reported that Mulkey, you ready for this one? How about this? This is great. Mulkey initially hoped the two players could become ambassadors for peace.
Sure.
Let's solve the peace between those two countries.
I mean, this is
at LSU.
Yeah, this is straight out of WWF in the 80s. Like, she just signed Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. And they lost Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, what are we doing? Is this real? Are you sure this is a real story?
No, but
Kim Mulkey has come over the top and said, I'm signing with Russian to replace my Ukrainian player, and I don't care that there's a war going on. Nothing will stop me. The rest of the schools, I can't wait to see. I mean, LSU clearly was lining up for a fight. I mean, they're doing it in men's basketball, women's basketball, and football. They want the smoke. Bring it. Oh, I love beefs like this.
Somebody tweeted out, the trolls have begun, Steve. I mean, all you have to do is search Kim Mulkey. It's fantastic. Kim Mulkey, Will Wade, Lane Kiffin. LSU decided to hire all the a-holes to coach their teams.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
All right, a couple minutes ago, we went behind the counter with Ray Kluever. Let's talk to the better, the expert. Dustin Swedelson joins us on Tuesdays. Dustin, how did your NFL futures draft go?
Well, it went well from the standpoint that I was the host of it, but I was not actually invited to participate, Steve. So I had to do my own little thing. We called it the Dustin Swedelson sloppy seconds. Whatever picks were left on the table, that's what I ride with. I'm up against it. I didn't have the pick of the litter, but that's fine. That's kind of my lot in life. I host the night show. It replays overnight. People think I'm live at 4 a.m. their time, but the reality is it's just a replay of my show because I'm the guy at the end of the day they get double the work out of. So I went, I took some teams, some players that they didn't play that I thought there was value.
There was a lot of griping in that long statement. I enjoyed that. You really snuck a couple of shots in there. So you have 4 NFL win totals: Giants, Atlanta, New Orleans, Detroit. Give me one or two that you really like, and they're not all the same.
Yeah, the Giants are one that I'm legitimately on. They're over 7.5 wins. I think the market is severely underestimating how inept this organization's been for a very long time. Going back to Ben McAdoo not getting his suit tailored before his press conference. Into after that, Pat Shurmur, who nobody in all of football wanted to give Pat Shurmur a second crack at being a head coach. Yeah, here we are. The Giants did so. Joe Judge, who was in over his head, and Brian Daboll, who made one lucky run into the playoffs. They have a guy now in John Harbaugh who knows how to put together an organization. There's an adult in the room. There's someone who understands advanced analytics. And more importantly, I don't think people realize how good this defense is going to be. The offense wasn't the issue last year. The defense couldn't stop the run. Losing Dexter Lawrence, who's a pass rusher on the inside, not a guy who kills the run, there's an upgrade there with the guys they brought in and Shelby Harris and a couple other to make up for him. But linebacker-wise, pass rusher-wise, they're going to be able to hit you with 3, 4, 5 different pass rushers, and the cornerback spots improved immensely through the draft and in free agency. I think the Giants are significantly better. I think 8 wins is happening. I don't think 9 is crazy. And there is a world, an alternate universe where they can get to 10.
Patrick Mahomes passing touchdown leader.
I went 20-1 on this one. This was a numbers play. The ultimate goal of this fantasy futures draft is that you have the most ROI back at the end of the year. So when you're looking at some of these leader props, you're trying to cash in something big. Patrick Maher won the event last year. He had Jonathan Taylor rushing touchdown leader at 13-1 to put him over the top. I'm looking at Mahomes at 20-1. I just feel like we are so underrating what a healthy Mahomes and Andy Reid looks like together. And specifically for this bet, Steve, he has come out multiple times and said he needs to run the ball less. Well, he ran the ball in a very short, limited sample size a year ago, 5 times for rushing touchdowns. If he still stays healthy, and those runs are now passes in the red zone when they're on the edge of scoring, I think there's a world where Patrick Mahomes is in the 40s again, touchdowns-wise. Last year, there was a big drop-off. Stafford was 46th, and after him, it was in the mid-30s. If he can get to 38, Mahomes has a chance, and look at what he's done in his career. He's been there, and he's done this before.
You really are, Dustin, a glutton for punishment. You've whined for months about how baseball has mistreated you, and yet you keep going back to markets to try to pluck a winner here and there. First of all, the NL Rookie of the Year, things have changed. I'm really intrigued by this one because there's a guy who has the best numbers, but I don't know that he should be the favorite. What's going on with a New York Met rookie who's now starting to race up the charts?
Yeah, look, I'm looking at Carson Bench, and full disclosure, whenever you see anybody who's in the betting space and they're wondering why, if a guy can win an award, it's because they have vested interest in that guy winning an award. Yes. And I've got 80-1 on Carson Bench when he got off to a super slow start this year. He's down to 70-1, and I think he has a chance to go 20-20, maybe even like 22-22 across the board, playing Gold Glove caliber defense in the outfield. So I wondered if there's enough time left in the season for him to really make a push. But the thing that has promised for me is that Sal Stewart has finally overtaken J.J. Weatherholt for the favorite for NL Rookie of the Year.
Right.
J.J. Weatherholt's hitting under 200 in the second half.
Sure.
And WAR tells you that he's having a great season. Dude, I am so over the numbers and the analytics telling me that this guy's better than this guy. Sal Stewart is a rookie who's going to drive in well over 100 runs this year. How does he not get credit for that?
I think he's third in WAR amongst rookies. He's actually behind your boy Beng and also Weatherholt's at like 3.9.
Yeah, look, he's also been consistent. He got off to a hot start, but he's also been hitting for power in the second half. He is in the middle of that Reds lineup doing a ton of damage right now. He's going to hit north of 30 home runs. I get defense matters. I'm all for I believe both sides of the ball. There's good people on both sides. You got to do both things well if you want to win these things. But his numbers are so astronomically better than the other rookies. It is a joke that he hasn't been the favorite all season long.
The big dumper has taken a big dump this season with, 60 home runs last year? He's got 54 hits total this year. And for some reason, though, you're interested in jumping on the Mariners late here because of value.
Yeah, it's called hating yourself, Steve. But real quick on the dumper thing. Yeah. I just went on a trip, and this is the thing I know happens to women, but it happened to me. I could not go to the bathroom for the first 3 days of this trip. And to try to force myself to do it, I just kept eating more, even when I was full, hoping to push food out.
Stuff it in.
It didn't work. It didn't work. I was dying by the end of this trip.
Willie, don't rub it in. You're the only one who has great freaking bowel movements, and
I never said I did.
You're always showing off around us.
All I pictured was jamming something in the garbage disposal when it's already not moving. You just keep putting stuff in there, trying to hope it's going to push through.
Dustin and I just keep eating. It's going to come out.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the Mariners.
Mariners futures. That's right.
Yeah, Mariners. They're 40-1. I think I saw 15-1 to win the AL. Steve, I hate this team. Willie, I hate this team. They've broken my heart every year, but I don't think Judge is going to come back and be 100%. Therefore, the American League is wide freaking open. Could that be the way that this excuse-making pitching staff that we have been defending for years and has nothing to show for it, could that be how the Seattle Mariners finally win a pennant? The upside is there. They are still not in a playoff spot. I believe they're 3 games out in the West. But Houston just fired their GM, right? They don't trust them. Texas, I just don't buy the hitting. If Seattle ever put it all together, it could be them. But, look, they're a big number for a reason. And I've gotten beaten on them for 4 straight years. But I think there's a little bit of value on that.
I'll give you value. The Circa Friday Invitational is back, and I think the most disrespected person in the field is the best female handicapper in the world. Alex White is back amongst all these guys. She finished second 2 years ago. Cofield and Company's Alex White. How about the field this year?
Well, Matt Humans puts that on Friday nights, and to me, it is the closest thing to the Stardust line you're going to get, for people that know what that meant to the industry and to betting. And our guy Scott Spreitzer will be on my show cashing out tonight on VSiN. But the crew is incredible. You got guys who attack it from very different angles. Some dudes love just playing the contest lines where the line is moved. They're just going to take that value. Others are contrarian players. They want to go up against other people. Some people are great with the totals and the game script, and also it's college football and the NFL. So last year, Chris Massaro won it, one of the sharpest dudes ever, and he's always in the running. Chuck Edel is a legend when it comes to betting totals specifically. And your girl, Alex White, she came very close to winning this thing. I don't think she's disrespected at all, and I think she holds her own in this contest every year.
Well, I have to build up the angst. I have to build up the rooting interest against all that.
Exactly. You got to create the narrative that everyone hates you. It's the best way to do it.
Why? This is important. This is our Broadcaster Bites portion of the show with Dustin Swedelson from VSiN 1230 The Game. Forgot to pop your show. I got so excited coming in. Why does KFC treat us like redheaded stepchildren and go to China and introduce food items like the Oreo chicken burger? My God.
Here's why, Steve.
Did you look at this thing? Did you look at this thing?
I saw it.
They know if they put it in front of us, we'd say, ew, disgusting. That doesn't go together.
Not all of us.
But if you give it to a foreign entity, if you export something that looks weird and fun, we all of a sudden get intrigued. Well, why can't we try that? And that is the best way to sell something is to make it not available. It's like women in college for me. I liked them more when they didn't say yes to going out with me. And I only know that because none of them ever said yes to going out with me. But it's still the same thing. KFC is doing this so it builds up the hype. It builds up the mystique. And then by the time you get to taste it, you realize what it is. It's all this other stuff repurposed. It's probably disgusting, but I'm intrigued by the balance of the sweet bun with the mashed potatoes, the crunch of the chicken. I'm intrigued by it. I'll probably need to eat it once, but dude, I'm getting ready for a wedding. I can't be eating that every day.
Here's my suggestion to you, Dustin.
Can we let's describe it first though to get the audience
Go
in.
ahead.
Fried chicken patty and lettuce. It is topped with brown mashed potatoes, dusted in cookie crumbles, placed between 2 Oreo cookie flavored buns. It looks glorious. Go ahead.
My suggestion is this. Go to KFC. Get yourself a chicken sandwich with mashed potatoes. Go home. Open the bun. Spread some mashed potatoes. As we all do at some point in our lives, open the Oreo like the Russian did in what was the poker movie with Matt Damon. Crack it open. Throw some cookies in the middle. And see what it tastes
But how
like.
do we do the buns? The buns are what intriguing.
I understand that, but for the time being, until you have it, you got the flavor of the Oreo inside the bun. I mean, there's nothing you're going to do.
I guess
the only thing
Dustin, could we take a brioche bun, melt chocolate, and then sweep chocolate over the brioche bun? Because I don't think that would replicate it.
You could bake a chocolate bun.
No, here's what angers me is that the bun doesn't exist for sale. I would buy just the bun if they sold it.
Yes, chocolate buns.
We need Jared Justice back to bake us chocolate.
No one knows who that is. Random reference. He's gone. He's forever out of our memories. I'm sorry, Jared. I'll text you later. I love the creativity. I really do. I forgot. We have actually some more important college football stuff to get to, like the games this week. All right, first of all, give me your thoughts on Memphis and UNLV, a Week 0 game here at the L.
Yeah, look, obviously, Steve, you have the insider track on UNLV, and I love Dan Mullen. I loved what he did a year ago. Jaden Thomas is back, which is just, I mean, that gives them an edge in a lot of matchups. I'm just a big Charles Huff guy, and I really don't understand what this guy has to do to earn the respect of everyone out there. I know he brought in a lot of new players, and we saw how that had to get brought along a year ago for the Rebs, but Huff has a history of doing this. This kid that he's potentially, we don't know if he's 100% going to be the starting quarterback, that he recruited to play quarterback this year out of West Florida Division II, was a Harlan Hill finalist. He's a dual threat, Marcus Stokes. 40 total touchdowns last year. What if, just live in a world where what if this is the next Trinidad Chambliss? Mm-hmm. Can he lift Memphis to win the American? Can he lift Memphis to the playoff? I don't think that's crazy. The new OC comes from ODU where they run that tempo, peppy offense, and they run people to death. I think they're going to be ready to score right away with UNLV, and then those quarterback issues concern me. So I took the points with Memphis at 5.5, which is kind of a dead number, but it's down to 4.5, and it feels like there's going to be a lot more love coming in on the Tigers.
Dustin, we have 20 seconds left. Please tell people where they can hear your show to hear the rest of this great material.
Catch me on VSiN Sunday through Thursday at 8 to 11 p.m. Pacific time, right here all over Vegas, and YouTube TV, Sirius XM as well.
Let's all promise to search all over Las Vegas for a chocolate bun so we can do this makeshift chicken sandwich and prove the Chinese are not the only ones who are innovative. Damn you, China. I'm jealous. Dustin, we appreciate it, buddy. See ya.
See you, boys.
WN Las Vegas. Live from the Findlay Toyota studio, you're listening to ESPN Las Vegas.
Football's here, so LV Sports Network's going to be on the road a lot. We'll be announcing our road shows. We'll have weekly spots. Later this week, special edition of a morning show. Concept 7 to 10A. It'll be John Von Tobel, as I know he's already booked one guest with Caleb Herring. He'll be hosting for ESPN Las Vegas 7 to 10A. That's Circus Sports. as Circa is doing its Ultimate Contest weekend. It's coming up Thursday through Saturday. Yes, Thursday through Saturday. R&R 920 is going to be out there 7A to 10A and 2 to 5. The morning show will be out there on Friday, and so will Q Myers from 2 to 5. Brandy Flores also part of the package that's out there at Circa. Again, Ultimate Contest weekend, cocktail party meet and greet at Bar Canada on Thursday, stadium swim party on Friday, blackjack tournament on Friday night, invite to Fireworks Friday at Legacy Club, Circa football preview hosted by the one, the only Mike Palm. This is all going down Thursday through Saturday. A panel of superstars is booked with Mike Palm, including newbie to the book, longtime oddsmaker, one of our favorites around Las Vegas, Jeff Sherman. So check it out. You can see Radio Row. There'll be dozens of stations and podcasts in town, including our shows, live shows 7 to 10A in the I'm not going to say where it is because I think they have a special setup, but I was not given that information. So 7 to 10A, ESPN Las Vegas, morning show, then Friday, Raider Nation Radio 920, again, 7 to 10A and 2 to 5P. All right. This guy likes doing road shows, and we like having him on because he brings the hot take, hot shot attitude to Cofield and Company. From the Sporting Tribune, a lot of Southern California news to get into. John Browner is up on this Tuesday, joins us every single week with Cofield and Willie. What's up, John?
What's up, boys? How we doing?
We're pretty good. There's some funny stories to talk about. There's some stories that might get us yelling and a little bit angry, but that's the best part about this. The spot is very varied. First of all, I want to check in on what the Dodgers have been doing lately. Arash and I have a little thing going. I don't like Arash. I don't know if you know that, but Arash is very arrogant about his Dodgers. And with the Dodgers, I don't think everything is hunky-dory, but it has looked better recently. Glass now is back making his first start, and they have won 6 in a row. Are you buying the Dodgers as a runaway choice to win the National League, even with the Phillies winning 9 of 10?
I never got off the horse.
Okay.
Not that I was beating my chest. I never fell for the, oh, no, the sky is falling version that they were trying to create. They did this exact same thing last year. Towards the end of the season, they hit a struggle because they were the defending champs. Now they're trying to three-peat, and they do the same thing mid to late August. All of a sudden, nobody can hit, nobody can pitch. They're not really playing guys. And then all of a sudden, right before we hit September, oh, now they're hot. Their pitching is getting hot. Oh, now their hitters are active and coming off the injury list. And now Blake Snell's played 3 starts in a row, and he looks fantastic. People fell for this last year, and rightfully so, because repeating is hard. The third time they do this, and people fall for it again, it's your fault, man. It's your fault.
I'm falling for it.
I'm right there with you because I think the last time we brought this up, I don't know if it was with you, I said it to somebody, and I said that I'm not buying into this lull. Dodgers will be fine. Steve cut me off, said, I am buying into it.
By the way, Glass now getting crushed tonight. Bad sign. Glass now crushed.
Just as he just did. Skubal, by the way, finally won with the Dodgers. Since joining the team, 1-2, the team is 2-2 with him, 3.38 ERA. Do you see him turning it around and becoming dominating for this team?
You know what? That's a really good question. I'm going to say no. I don't see him dominating. And he's not the best pitcher on the staff. Ohtani is. He just hasn't thrown recently. I think Blake Snell is a better pitcher than not Tyler Glass. No, I'm sorry. I think he's a better pitcher than Tariq Skubal. I think Tariq Skubal's arm is going to explode. I never bought into it. He's been solid. Yeah. But again, at the start of the season, they didn't want to pitch him because he was having elbow and arm trouble. And now I believe they gave him some time off. And this is why he struggled, because he's not going as hard as he possibly can, because he's trying to make sure his arm doesn't explode so he can get paid at the end of the season. This is a Scott Boras client. This is all this is about. I believe his struggles are solely because he's not going full tilt, because he doesn't want to blow his arm out before it becomes contract time or World Series time. Now, I believe when the World Series comes, you will see a completely different version of him, because now he wants to win the World Series, arm be damned. But until then, he's going to look like this. I'm not falling for it.
John Browner, Sporting Tribune, Browner's podcast up on Twitter. Update, Max Muncy just struck out looking. I mean, you're not even going to swing the bat. Looking. And Ohtani's 0 for 2, and he has a strikeout. So things are falling apart here. Plus, down the 5, the enthusiasm with the pod squad. What an introductory press conference with Kwanzaa Jones, who has a weird concept about baseball. It can be fun. I've seen people panning her delivery and her press conference. Baseball can be fun, you schnooks.
it's wild to see people hate joy.
Right?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird for people to hate joy? You finally get some minority ownership. You finally get another woman, not named Marge Schott, in charge of something.
Yes.
Wow.
And she comes, she's not racist. She's not cursing anybody out. She's being joyful. And she's optimistic about the future of her franchise that her and her husband have spent a lot of money on. And they're talking about spending more money and being a part of the community. They plan on carrying the vision forward as Peter Seidler did, not his brothers who took over when he unfortunately passed, but the version that Peter Seidler had was the Padres competing, saying that spending money and that market is sustainable. They believe that. They also believe they have the deep pockets to do so. And for them to, on the first day, obviously, show that type of enthusiasm and joy, I wonder who was mad with that. Because I know who wasn't mad with that.
Of course.
So it always interests me.
You know the reasons. I know what you're getting at. You know the reasons. There's a couple. You hinted at the very beginning.
Let me help you. White people who get upset with this black woman and her husband showing joy and happiness, bringing that into Major League Baseball, somehow that made old white people go, oh, well, what's she so happy about? Opportunity, my man. She's the only one.
Yep.
She's the only one in the room now. And I believe, this is my own personal belief, in 5 years, the San Diego Padres will become the standard on how you do business in baseball. Now, I can follow my face and be totally wrong about that. But I believe the energy and enthusiasm that they're going to bring to Major League Baseball as a whole, I believe in 5-10 years, they will be looked at like the Dallas Cowboys. Because what's going on with the Dodgers, not on the field, but above the field, something's not right about that. That stinks in every direction. And now they done suck LeBron into this. It stinks in every direction. What's happening with the Dodgers in their front office situation? They can't answer questions about it. They don't know which way to go about it. And so I know that's at some point the truth will come out. And then when you turn around and you see that they're the ones buying the soccer team off of him, it all will make sense of who got money and who don't.
No, this is glorious because I said forever, yes, baseball can be a money-making entity, but baseball owners need to be super rich, and this needs to be a novelty, a hobby for them. They're going to make some money, but it's supposed to be fun. The Dodgers right now are in this weird position. This guy obviously was highly leveraged. He still owns the team. He got rid of the Lakers, but Mark Walter is a mess. And you kind of slipped in the LeBron thing there with the whole Guggenheim. Dude, how big is this going to get with what appears to be this house of cards financial fraud where the Dodgers are involved? Now, LeBron, listen, I don't know if LeBron did anything wrong. He got a loan, but that was kind of shocking to see LeBron potentially got a loan of $300 million. What are these guys doing?
The way that these guys move money, it's so hard to follow. It's got to be illegal. It has to be. Because if I give you $5 and I say, hey, man, I'm going to give you $5 in the hopes that you give me $8 back because I gave you that $5, that's simple math for people like us. We could put a small percentage on something, but what they're doing with money, the way they're moving it around, how this loan that LeBron got for $300 million is apparently he got the loan off the Nike deal that he has. He didn't even get the loan by, hey, I'm LeBron James. I'm going to sign this piece of paper at your bank. You're going to loan me, the individual, the $300 million. No, he leveraged the $300 million loan against his Nike contract, which, again, to the average person is like, what? What? How do you do that? No, we don't know because our pocket ain't deep enough to be able to do that. And so all this feels like they're in on something that they've been doing for a while, and we don't know anything about it. And because one of them got busted, the cards are all falling. That's really what this feels like. And LeBron James is just one of those cards to the tune of $300 million.
I think LeBron has legit money, and obviously there was heavy leverage with the Nike thing. When I see stuff like this and I see what's happening with Mark Walter, I'm like, I think we just chose the wrong path and we're not friends with the right people. Because I'm starting to feel a lot of the super wealthy are not wealthy. I mean, I don't know if you saw the thing the other day about the Tate brothers and Andrew Tate, and he's posing, a few years ago in front of Aston Martin and Bugattis, and they're like, those were rentals. He didn't have any money. He didn't have money, but it's just like it's allowed. This world's allowed to exist. This phony world where everyone's rich except me. I don't know about you, John. I don't know if you're rich.
Listen,
I need some Mark Walter buddies.
I got too many kids to even pretend to be rich.
Oh, that was mistake number one. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Well, if you pretend, if you pretend, you're going to be paying those kids. So
if I pretend to be rich, I'm going to go back to alimony court. So I don't want to go there. I ain't got no money. Whoever listening, I ain't got no money. Please don't do that to me.
All right, we got to get your take on the stuff that has people really raging the last couple of days, and that is NFLers trying to go back to play college football, and now the Big Ten and the SEC, and I think the Big 12 is going to follow suit in the ACC. Now they're coming down with rules again, and they're laying it out a little more specifically. But what do you think about guys trying to go back after they don't make the NFL to go play another year of college football or continue to play college basketball if they don't make the NBA or the G League?
I believe because the NCAA has been such a fraudulent organization, by raking in all this money and suspending kids for selling pants that they own. I've always thought this system was fraudulent from the beginning. And now because Lane Kiffin, of all people, chose to follow a rule, they saw a loophole, they took advantage of it because, again, the NCAA got caught with their pants down because they are reactionary and not actionary. They're in a bad place. I don't have a problem with the kid doing it. If you were going to get cut from the rounds, you can go back to LSU and make $800,000, $1 million to play tight end. We would all do that. None of this is illegal until you make it illegal, and no one can do it. Who else is eligible for it can do it. I think this is more of a problem in basketball because you got these guys who come on campus for 6 months, 8 months, and then they go to the league. Now, you in the league, your second-round contract may have burned out by now, but because of this 5x5 rule, now you got a whole nother year sitting around somewhere. And now these guys turn up in the NBA, and you got issues.
What did you think of what the Big Ten said today? I don't know if you saw all the verbiage, but it tried to cover as much as possible. It just basically anyone who goes into a draft or signs a pro contract makes money in the pros of any sort. Now, here's the thing. It didn't really specify international pros, which that's the thing that really drives me nuts and I think is un-American, where college basketball – wants to ban Americans, but they're fine with Sergey coming over at 24 years old after being pro since 16.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't make any sense. They're going to find people until they lose. If Ohio State loses to LSU in the championship game, and this kid from the Browns catches 3 touchdowns,
right,
they'll all start doing it.
Right.
They'll all start doing it. If UNLV wins the national championship with a bunch of these guys from the 2 years removed from the NBA, everybody will start doing it because that's how this works. That's always how this works. They're against it until they lose to it, and now everybody's in favor of it. That's what's going to happen. We can all see this coming a mile away. The Big Ten's holier-than-thou approach to this is it's so NCAA. It's so college athletics masquerading as athletics when it's really just professional sports. It's all in line with what they do, and I'm just not a fan of it.
John Browner covers the Southern California scene. He works for the Sporting Tribune. You can see Sporting Tribune today up on YouTube and other platforms. They're on terrestrial radio as well with our Lotus station in L.A. Let's go with another hot take here. And this week I've consistently, and this is actually the way I look at things, I'm consistently on the side of the villain. So I'm not a lover of all of Deshaun Watson's behavior, but there was a really strong reaction yesterday to annihilate the Browns over Deshaun, surpassing. He didn't surpass him. He won the number one job over Shedeur. Are you one of those folks who is really fired up and hates Deshaun Watson?
I think Deshaun Watson hates the entirety of Cleveland as a municipality. He hates the streets. He hates the air. He hates the water. He hates the buildings. Because they gave him $230 million, he got to pretend to like that place. I never seen a guy mad that he won the starting job. That apology he issued, I think it was today, was just kind of like, hey, man, listen, I got to be here. So, I was mad. I don't care he got the job. Todd Monken seems to me like a extremely straight shooter. And Todd Monken's press conference announcing that and then following up by saying, Shedeur gets it. He understands. He's a professional. Lets me know Deshaun Watson got that job from the top down. Deshaun Watson didn't get that job on the field. The owner of the Cleveland Browns has an investment in Deshaun Watson. And so for him not to look extremely stupid, he needs this investment to work out. And he's going to give that investment every chance possible to work out until it doesn't. And Shedeur understands that. This is the politics and this is the business of the sport that nobody talks about. if Shador was light years better, then I could understand that. If he was Patrick Mahomes at this point against this level of this version of Deshaun Watson, I would totally get that. But he didn't separate himself enough that this could be done, and people can be like, oh, well, Deshaun was better in the first preseason game and not the second. And so the Browns never do themselves any favors, and this is no different.
I'm just going to lob it out there. Try to keep it as clean as possible.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, I'll just say, just Jed York.
Woo! Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something. I ain't mad at Jed York. Let me explain. I'm not against prostitution. I'm just not. It's sometimes if you got enough money, it's cheaper to pay for it than it is to wine and dine it. Now, the way Jed York went about this, buddy, how you get caught on an ad? Big fella, you from Youngstown, Ohio. You know the area. You being in East Palestine trying to get some strange for $1.50, you got to do better than that. You got to do better than that, man. You being a billionaire and having access to private jets, and I'm sure he could call a madam or two to do a little bit better. But you're responding to an ad for $1.50. All these rich people ain't smart, y'all. That's what all this mean to me. All you rich people ain't smart. Selling that thing been a thing before we knew anything, before any of these buildings, before the internet. People been selling that thing, man. So that's the oldest profession we got. So I'm not against it. Jed York just got to be smarter, man. Just got to be smarter. I was more upset that he had what they called criminal or he had a crack pipe pretty much. And they named it something else instead of just saying he had a crack pipe. So allegedly, Jed York went to get high and get some of that thing, man. Try to get some of that thing. Who mad at that? Who mad at that? I'm not. Well, I just think it's a bad look that now if that had been Christian McCaffrey, it'd have been on every channel all day.
Of course.
And today and tomorrow. But because these owners are so faceless pretty much, we wouldn't know Jed York if he was in another mugshot next to one of us. So, I think that's how all this spiraled out of control. He probably told the officer, hey, man, listen, I'm the owner of the 49ers. And they went, ha, yeah, me too. Look where you at, buddy. Get in the car.
Let me take it a step further. You said if it was Christian McCaffrey, he'd be all over. Let me put it a step further. If that was a black owner or a black athlete, it would be much worse. This would be. We all know that this would be. The headlines and the outcry would be 100 times worse.
If this was Deshaun Watson,
there you go.
He'd be
it was
in jail. Like
it already was Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
He got 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine. We've now had Steve Tisch, who supposedly is a big part of the Epstein files, the owner of the Giants. We've had Bobby Kraft at massage parlors, and now we've got Joe York, as he called himself, at a trailer park, and none of them got anything.
Robert Kraft was caught in a human trafficking scandal. That wasn't just prostitution.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Robert Kraft was in a human trafficking sting. He had so much fun the first day, he went back the second day. Like, this idea that somehow these guys can behave because they're the good old boys and they're policing themselves. Roger Goodell is not the cop for the owners. The owners are the cops for the owners. That's why these guys, Jerry Jones has done so many things that we'll never know. And they never get held accountable at all, nor will they, because you're asking them to police themselves. Rest his soul, Jim Irsay got caught with more dope than any rapper you could ever name. People stop talking about it. That's just the way that this is, and that's a part of sport that as fans we have to tolerate. As people who cover the game, you have to be kind of hush-hush about, but people know what's going on.
And anyone out there who's getting annoyed that we keep going back to the same storyline, we've got references to Mark Walter, Jed York, Bobby Kraft, Steve Tisch. But, yes, Kwanzaa, the new owner of the Padres, is the problem.
Right.
She's the problem because she was having fun and enthusiastic and ready to take on the Dodgers in a war of words and a war of pocketbooks, war of wallets. Yes, that's the problem. That's a good close.
The problem is a smiling black woman. Well, I swear.
That's the problem. All right, John, tell people what's going on with Sporting Trib today. And also, I know you guys are putting out a bunch of different podcasts and a lot more material up on Twitter at Sporting Trib.
Yeah, head over on YouTube or X, The Sporting Tribune. We're launching a bunch of local podcasts for LA sports. We're launching one for Vegas sports as well. We're also branching out, and we're going to be on August the 31st. We're making our debut on television as well. And so the Sporting Tribune is absolutely growing, and we're trying to reach you with as many hot takes and common sense sports journalism as we possibly can. And so I'll keep y'all updated. I'm going to keep coming back.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
There he is, John Browner, Browner's Podcast. You can see his videos just about every day. Yeah. Boy, that turned into a real gripe about rich people. I really got emotional there with Mark Walter. It's like, how the hell is this happening? And I forgot about it. I'd seen the Tate brother thing where I'm like, these guys are just faking being super rich and posing in front of rental cars.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
You're not posing in front of rich cars.
I want to play like I'm rich.
Yeah. Why not?
Don't you?
No. I want to be rich.
No. Yeah. Well, it's kind of it's like kind of rewarding a little bit here and there.
It's not.
I guess there might be some stress though when you're faking the funk.
Yeah, because I'm not going to even get started. All I know is that I'm going to continue to lobby to James until one day my suggestions work. But man, today's post-show post, selling that thing.
Yeah, I don't. This is not. This goes along with a rule we set a long time ago when we used to do drops all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did it, but we would have hosts calling for drops, and it was like the drops are the responsibility. That's his job. Creative director of not drops in this case, but of show titles.
Selling that thing was nice. It was nice.
You're just gonna keep saying it. Don't do it. You already wrote something down. Tell him. I already got something from earlier.
I love it.
I already got something. Remember, you can raid PTs all season long. Unnecessary Roughness from Raider Nation Radio 920 is going to be hanging out at the PT's Gold, 903 East Lake Mead Parkway. That's Lake Mead and Sunset in Hendo. Q Myers will be on the scene with $3 Blue Moon and Coors Light pints, $4 Modelo pints, $20, as Huff would say, Topo Chico buckets. You can win Raiders tickets, also rideshare credit to the games and bar credit at the Owl. Get on out to PT's Gold at 903 East Lake Mead Parkway in Henderson. Unnecessary Roughness is there from 2 to 5 as you can raid PT's Taverns.
Now back to Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
Boy, oh boy. These are the dangerous parts of the show. Willie Ramirez looked at me like, hey, what are we doing? Oh, I got some stuff coming. First of all, on the Dodgers, I'm not anti-Dodger. This Walter guy is really, the stuff that's coming out now, this is, as I said earlier, such a house of cards. And frankly, I'm tired of hearing everyone complain that the Dodgers are unbeatable. Everyone is flawed. Now we're finding out that this guy's money is more than leveraged. Right now it's 3-3 Dodgers and Atlanta. Atlanta is one of the key teams in the National League that could, in the playoffs, knock off the Dodgers. Glasnow's throwing okay. 3-3 in that one. James and I were just talking about the Brewers as well. Brewers are very interesting. Such a good pitching staff, so they're certainly a player in the National League. Before we get to the wildness that brings out, I guess, brings all the boys to the yard, right? Around football.
Milkshake?
Yep. It's not the milkshake. It's college football. It's just football. I was just texting with John Von Tobel, who's going to be and John's part of the company. John works for VSiN as well, VSiN 1230 The Game. And John and I were just talking about the craziness of UNLV football and this quarterback thing. You and I have talked about the quarterback thing for a month. And what did I say a month ago about where I thought the battle was? What was the number I put on it? Do you remember? Because you repeated it to me last week. I said it was 95-5 in favor.
I just remember you said
it was 95-5 in favor of Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
You followed up about 2 weeks later, and I said it's probably about 80-20 now. Orgy has made some ground up.
Okay.
But it's Jackson Arnold's job.
Yeah.
I still believe that. Dan Mullen is doing Dan Mullen things. Dan Mullen is doing coaching things. We have a game here that features Memphis and Charles Huff, who will not name his starting quarterback. On the other side, Dan Mullen will not name his starting quarterback. Now, Huff has said he hasn't even told the quarterbacks who's going to be the guy. I don't necessarily believe that. I think the Rebels know who the guy is going to be. But here's the thing. From covering college football, and that's why we're going to read some tweets in reaction to this nationally, and I try not to get too worked up because there's some complicating factors. But when you're out there watching practice, you can kind of see what's going on. You get a good read. You have historical data. The funny thing is we can now go back 2 coaches, and the last 3 years there's been quarterback battles that were not settled until the very end, and in some cases they didn't even settle until they walked on the field. Because you remember, going back to Odom year 2, Matt Sluka and Haj Malik Williams had a nip-and-tuck fight. I thought Haj Malik won the job. I was wrong that year. Sluka started the first 3 games and then kind of solved the problem by going rogue and asking for money, and they told him to hit the bricks. And then Haj Malik led him to a really good season. Last year, year 1 of Mullen, Anthony Calandria and Orji were in a battle. And then when they walked on the field, they actually were on the field for a play together. They won the game. And Anthony Calandria played 58 snaps. Orji played 15.
And he clearly looked like his job. Yeah.
Yep. And I think the same thing's going to happen on Saturday. But what I don't want to do, and I've said this before on the air, is I'm going to read some reaction to Mullen saying both quarterbacks will play. What I will not do is what people on the internet do and randos do, and that is insult either guy. I'm not going to insult Alex Orji. When I say I believe that Jackson Arnold's won the job, it's not an insult to Alex Orji. But people, I mean, the internet is just, it can be a cesspool. And most of these people making comments don't have to face any of the players. They don't know the players. Like, I keep seeing people who are like, Dan Mullen has this infatuation with Alex Orji. If you were ever around Alex Orji, the player, the leader, the dude, and listen to him speak and the way he carries himself, you'd kind of be infatuated with him too. Now, that doesn't mean he gets, he's the starting quarterback. You have to be objective. But he's such a good kid. But I hate when people are like, sucked at Michigan, he sucks now. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Shut up. Right? Sucks.
Thank you.
Cut it out. You saw the post, right? And you asked me before the show because I put a whole list of different internet comments, and you're like, who wrote this? Yeah. So first of all, this all started yesterday, and it's been going on for weeks. It started with Dan Mullen yesterday saying 3 times that both guys are going to play. I don't know what my first play is going to be. And then he kind of spun it into, hey, there could be a scenario where I have 5 wide receivers on the field, Willie, and Jet Thomas doesn't start. Are we going to make a big deal because Jet Thomas didn't start? And I get his point because I've seen this with a bunch of these coaches. Starting means nothing. That's why if you notice, there's one person in the UNLV media who constantly references PFF and snap counts. I do it all the time. Because that gives you a true indication of how they feel about the player, how well the player played in that spot, who's getting looks in the rotation in the most important times, who plays in the fourth quarter. But yeah, Pete Nakos up on 3. And remember, UNLV and Memphis is an isolated game. It's in a week where there's only like 12 FBS games and then a bunch of FCS games. Pete tweets out, UNLV head coach Dan Mullen plans to play both Jackson Arnold and Alex Orji on Saturday night against Memphis. He announced. As of 2 o'clock, that simple post had 252,000 views on UNLV football. It's good for UNLV football. But what does that statement mean, Willie? I mean, to me, it means what it says and nothing more. But people just run with it.
Yeah, it all it means is that Alex Orji could come in for one play on a 3rd and short to do something that maybe he doesn't want Jackson Arnold to do. Maybe it means, who knows what it means, but it doesn't mean that it's split time. It
Nope, never said that.
Right.
Yeah. So some comments. Arnold not beating out Orji is nuts. So now it becomes this referendum on Jackson Arnold, who was in the SEC, Auburn and Oklahoma, that he has now failed. So it's insulting to Orji. And then it also says you know nothing about what's happened in scrimmages or practices, that Jackson Arnold has failed because 2 quarterbacks are going to play in a game. Someone else. This is concerning for how good I feel about UNLV. Okay. Another one. Damn, I thought Arnold was going to be such a good quarterback. Bro sucks. All right. Another one. On the 2 quarterback thing, these are my favorites. Someone says, because this always ends well, just make a decision. Funny enough, he did the same thing last year. They won 10 games, and Anthony Colandrea won the Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Year. So I guess it did end well. With the same coach. It's another one. Arnold seriously couldn't beat out Orgy? Man, I was high on UNLV. So now we're making determinations on UNLV season because the coach said 2 quarterbacks are going to play. Another one. How is Jackson Arnold still in school? Okay. He was also a former 5-star. Yes, he was. And can't beat out Alex Orgy. Holy S. He's ass. This is what we get so many times now from the internet. And, of course, you also get if you know what they say, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. And there are actually high-level handicappers who said that. Someone sent me a text earlier, a high-level female handicapper who is also getting a big role on a new website. She had to use that line.
Really?
Which is why fade her picks. We all know that. Because the jokes are more important than actually doing research for your picks.
I got to know.
I don't take this personally.
I did my own research. I have my own resource.
Did you go to AI? Could AI give you the answer that Dan Mullen would not? That scoundrel.
Stealing my punchline.
Yeah. So what do you think when you hear all those comments? Insulting the kids because the coach said 2 quarterbacks are going to play. Because you could spin into, hey, they've had a hell of a battle and both deserve time.
I think that there's a lot of people that have a lot of time on their hands and have no sense of direction when it comes to research and looking into things and just kind of, they're keyboard warriors, man. They love to coach. We see it in every sport. We see it we see it with some. You think about the teams that we have in this town. The Golden Knights, the Raiders, the Aces. I mean, there are so many hockey coaches out there. There are so many NFL coaches out there. There are definitely WNBA coaches out there. Now we have somebody in place for what? Here's the one thing I will take from it, though. Here's the one thing I will take from it. About 4 years ago, right? 4? Before Odom got here, no one would even care. So this is actually somewhat of a good thing.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like nearly 300,000 posts because the UNLV coach said he doesn't, or he didn't say he doesn't know. He said he plans on playing both quarterbacks.
Right.
300,000 views on social media. That's just one account. That's how fired up people are for college football, and UNLV's in a good spot in a primetime game against Memphis. And they also, here's the other benefit of having guys like Dan Mullen who have embraced the transfer portal, that they have a track record where they can go out and get these quarterbacks. See, I would spin it this way. Instead of looking at Jackson Arnold and Alex Orgy as guys who have somehow failed, they've actually latched on with a program with a coach who is a quarterback rehabilitator. And if you look at what Colandrea did last year, you should be really excited about the possibilities of both of these guys. I'd be excited. I'm excited as a UNLV. If you're a UNLV fan, you realize they have Jackson Arnold, who was a top 10 recruit, Alex Orgy, who was highly touted. Physically, the guy's a monster. That's who they're working with right now. They're coming off a year with Anthony Colandrea where they rehabbed him to the point where he's getting more than $2 million from Nebraska. And before that, a couple years before that, they had Jade Mayava, who was making 7 figures at USC.
Yeah.
Can you imagine any of this in the UNLV football narrative? Those are insane storylines. Everything's changed.
We are now talking this into, by the way, into TikTok universe. When you're live, you'll occasionally get the AI summary, and it tells you what it's hearing.
Yeah.
And then it puts it into so now in the algorithm, it's AI summary, debating the Jackson Arnold versus Alex Orgy quarterback battle.
We're not debating.
We're not debating it, but it's going to be put into the what you call it.
Yeah, I've never had a debate. Every show I do out of the market, I've said the same exact thing. And again, it's no dig on Alex Orgy. From what I've seen, I think Jackson Arnold is going to be the guy. I think they're both capable. I think Alex Orji's a great backup quarterback, and I think they may need him.
Well, Steve, I have the predicted final score, and I know who's starting because I put it into ChatGPT, and it's come up with an answer, just so you know. Would you like to know? You interested? Quarterback edge for the UNLV-Memphis game is this. UNLV, Jackson Arnold has 18 career starts, 3,293 passing yards, and 34 total touchdowns. Memphis is choosing between Division II transfer Marcus Stokes and inexperienced former four-star Air Noland. In a season opener, Arnold's FBS experience matters, although his tendency to hold the football remains concerning. Then it goes on to the offensive edge. You know whose name's missing? Alex Orji. So according to ChatGPT, there is no competition. The predicted final score? UNLV 30, Memphis 27.
Ooh, inside the number, which is now shrinking.
Yes.
Memphis money is coming in. Ray Kluever from William Hill told us that earlier.
The summary does say the Rebels have the superior quarterback experience, proven backfield, and home field advantage, but Memphis's rushing scheme and defensive pressure should prevent separation.
That's not bad.
There you go.
I hate it. I hate the robots. Don't read any more of that robot.
It's okay.
You should just read straight from that every day. We'll never know.
That's where your topics are coming from tomorrow.
That's where you're just gonna have a script and just read at me, and I'm like, man,
topic
you're
should I send?
Boy, you're just very not emotional anymore, Willie. You used to yell and scream and get mad, and
it's funny.
Now you're just on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, it's funny.
Let's give away some tickets for Five Finger Death Punch coming up at T-Mobile on September 19th. Special guest is Cody Jinks. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. It's a show at T-Mobile, September 19th, Five Finger Death Punch. Caller 7, James is going to hook you up, 364-1100.
Cofield and Company presents Grab Bag on ESPN Las Vegas.
Stick your hand in there, dude.
It's going to be a little weird here. I did. Shocking. First time today. Willie's here. It's Cofield. James. Closing out of Cofield and Company on a Tuesday. Tomorrow we'll be live at Battleborn Injury Lawyers from 3 to 6. Justin Watkins. And then Thursday is the debut of the new time, 4 o'clock for the Dan Mullen Radio Show. Sierra Gold is a new location, 215 and South Jones. So we'll be out there sandwiching the Dan Mullen Radio Show with Cofield and Company. Today, I did a radio spot in Memphis. I talked to a guy who, very good talk show host, former player. We're going to get him on tomorrow. And as I was waiting on hold to come into the spot, they start playing a music bed, and guess who it was?
Elvis.
Nope.
Who?
We had a celebrity death today. A legend in Tennessee.
Dolly Parton.
Yep. I had a little trouble holding it together.
Did you?
I am a big fan, rest in peace, of Dolly Parton. Like, real fighter for women. I know everyone doesn't know that, but she was. So pour one out for Dolly. They played 9 to 5. I heard Fox Sports Radio in the afternoon. They were playing Islands in the Stream. That sucks. Both Kenny Rogers and Dolly are gone.
This is big of you. This is not a normal thing.
What do you mean? Well, actually, I love music. And I love Trailblazers. And I know, unlike a lot of dudes, I never do death tributes. I never do it live on the same day. Well, because you know why we don't do them? Because we're in your case, you're a nice person. Most of us are not nice, so we're going to say something that's mean on the day that someone passes away. But I have nothing mean to say about Dolly Parton. She was awesome, and I like Jolene. That's a good song. And she, by the way, she was an unbelievable songwriter who wrote songs for so many other people too. So there you go. So the funny thing is, I think the guy Gabe, who I went on with, because I said, I was like, boy, oh boy, you're setting me up here. I'm like, that's tough. And he thought I was mocking on it. He thought I was mocking on the song. And I'm like, no. Because he said, oh, she's like really big in Tennessee. I'm like, I know. Dollywood. Let's go.
9 to 5, one of your favorite movies? Solid movie.
Dude, it is a great movie.
You
know what's funny? Is it because I get crazy like this. 9 to 5 in a lot of ways is like perfectly emblematic of this era that we're going through right now. You heard me 55 minutes ago whining about the rich, eat the rich. These robots.
So many.
These robots. 9 to 5 was ahead of its time.
So many it's hard to pinpoint who stole the show because at any given time you had Jane Fonda, you had Dolly Parton, you had Lily Tomlin, and you had Dabney Coleman.
Yep.
I mean,
Dabney Coleman passed away recently. Lily Tomlin's still doing well. I will tell you right now, because Jane Fonda is another one of my heroes. When the day that Jane Fonda passes, I don't know if I'm doing the show. Damn it, getting old sucks.
She had one of the greatest one-liners. I don't think I can say it here on the Johnny Carson show. I told you what that was, right? I've told you or no?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
With Zsa Zsa Gabor, the line with Zsa Zsa? Yeah, I don't think we can do it.
Go ahead.
Back in the bag.
Stick your hand in there, Dave.
Real quick.
Yes.
She's
I was gonna make a hard left.
I'm going to make real quick, and shout out to my girl, Alexis Mann. She just updated me here on the TikTok Live, but she's been in the news, so why not bring it up? Chicago Sky are playing right now. Both Dejanay Carrington and Natasha Cloud out for the second half. Natasha Cloud injured her knee, Dejanay with her foot. And of course, social media is going wild. Yeah. That's what Natasha. It's one side or the other. Right. That's what Natasha gets. That's what I'm reading. I'm not saying that's
what she gets. What does that mean?
Because she went
brought
after
it on herself.
Yes, like karma from the other day with the what's his name, Freedom.
Yeah, Ennis Cantor.
Yeah.
So wait, is this true? They banned him from the arena?
Yeah.
He's banned.
He's banned from the arena, which to me is
read the quote.
Is ridiculous. Where's it at? I got to go back to the rundown because I'm on.
He has demonstrated to us unequivocally that he has the potential to be a threat.
Which is wild to me because we have heard from visiting WNBA teams in different array, mainly the Indiana Fever fans, but in general, the hatred that's being spewed, including this year with Jackie Young, where they're having people removed from the arena, are those people being banned? But this guy, I'm not agreeing with what he did and his purpose of being sitting baseline. Whoever gave him a baseline, by the way, was let's check that person. But is he really a threat to the players compared to what we're hearing?
Well,
what about the people that are throwing
that's the problem.
Sexual toys on the court? That's a danger.
He's a security threat. I don't know if they could protect him from the rest of the crowd. And then he wants that. That's what he wants. He's egging people on.
He's not doing anything.
By the way, you had a key question. We're going to run out of time here, but today is National Banana Split Day, and you said who even likes those anymore?
I did. I said, does anyone even have these anymore?
Oh, I'm sorry, even have them. I read it.
Does anyone go in and say, do we find, because we have all these specialty shots where you're going in for specialty, there's the rolled ice cream, there's the ones with the concoctions. Does anyone go in and get a true banana split from back in the day? I would. I love banana splits.
Yeah, I would.
I
told you today I tried to go get a waffle. Didn't work out. Yeah. Place didn't have waffles. But it was a good old school place that I wanted to see, so it worked out.
Well, whatever. It is what it is.
I'm going to keep efforting the waffles. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I think I misspoke on my whole waffle thing.
I think you should have a banana split in a waffle cone.
Because I said on National Waffle Day yesterday that I don't have enough waffles each year, and I estimated that I only had 3 this year, but I forgot. I do get chicken and waffles a lot.
Yeah.
Now, that said, they're not great waffles all the time. People, if you're going to, you have to up your waffle game. It's not all about
who does good
Please
chicken
produce good waffles.